I really like the ghost that I put in the thumbnail. I don't know why. I very much do. And I can close Twitter now. Fuck Twitter. And then we wait. We wait for the rest of the cast to come in, as well as you know, everything. My water. Hey, Draco Kraken. Oh no, not the spooky season. Oh! Yup. It's spookiness time. Are you ready? Because I am. I have a logo here now for the spooky time. Hello, Timothy. How are you? How are you doing? How are you doing, Draco Kraken? How is everyone doing? You know? How is everybody? Are you ready for the spookiness? I hope so, because it might not be that spooky really this time around, but we'll see. Hello, I am Sleepywood here. Hope everyone is well. Hello, Rico. Spooky. The only thing I was actually... The only spooky thing was I actually won a match of 40k last Wednesday. Yo! Congrats. That's awesome. Doing okay? Good to hear. Good to hear. Rico, I'm sorry you're sleepy. You should sleep if you're sleepy. Unless you don't want to sleep right now, in which case, hey, don't. The other two will be here in a bit. They will be a little late, cause of things. Both of them have told me they will be a little late. Which is fine. I will entertain you from here. Spooky time is best time? Yeah. It's Halloween season. Halloween is awesome. Sleep, what's that? Yeah. Nah, it's already 3 a.m. I'm in too deep now. I have the week off anyway, so I figured I'd join the stream again. Oh, well, congratulations on having the week off. I wish that was a thing that I had. That way I could have times like that too. But fair enough. I understand entirely. That's usually when I have a really bad sleep time and I get like maybe an hour of sleep because I'm just like laying in bed and it's like 4 a.m. and then I have to wake up in like an hour and a half. I do nod off at some point because at some point it suddenly becomes the time where I have to wake up, and then I just go through my day and it fucking sucks. So it sucks that you're going through it, but I understand. These days now though, I'm taking melatonin just to fucking do it, you know? Just to sleep. And it's kind of working now, which is nice. Time off. What non-American philosophy is that? Yeah, no, exactly. We have to always be working. That's the American way. I'm just gonna work myself to the bone and you know, sleeping. Ha ha ha. Who needs that? Welcome to Europeland, I guess. Yeah, fair enough. Um, yeah, I honestly, it's I was last week I did 10-hour days so that I could catch up with funds because I needed money because a lot of things have happened in my home that I now need to pay for. Um and so I've been living without water in my home for like over a week. Uh but I still get water and go take showers at my mother's house. So I'm not totally disgusting. So don't worry about that. But yeah, it's been a time. It has been a time. And you know, I'm working to hopefully just get everything all set So I don't need to do that. For me, it's not sleep. It's passing out if my body lets me. That's fair. Rip, no water sucks. Yeah, fair enough. Well, fair enough. Yeah, I'm living it. Yes, it does. I've been using 6-gallon jugs of different variations to transport water from my mother's house to my house, and using them in various ways so that I can continue to live in my home. At least my electricity works, so that's fine. The main reason is because I was supposed to have a plumber come by last Wednesday, and his kids got COVID, which sucks. Really, really bad. I felt really bad for him and his kids. But he just couldn't come by, and he's isolating himself like a good person. So, you know, I don't fault him at all, but I'm waiting until, you know, he's able to come and do the plumbing. So, you know, if it's Halloween, working yourself to the bone is appropriate. Yes, it is. Hello, Lux. Welcome. Same, dude. I picked up an extra day per week because of costs. Yeah, so I've been doing my regular 8 hours this week, but fuck me, dude. I've been trying to go for longer, but well, no, not regular. To be fair, I've been doing 8.5 because I get there half an hour early. But yeah, I don't know. Happy Hallows Eve. No, that's 30th, isn't it? 31st is Halloween, so right? I don't know days anymore. Time is weird. But yeah, I'm doing what I can so that I can get back on my feet, basically, because I have a lot of stuff on my credit card now. It's great. I'm glad I have a credit card, even though I hate it. But you know, but that's enough of my issues. It's not too big a deal. Don't feel sorry for me or anything. Don't worry about it. I'm gonna be just fine. I gotta just get through the next few weeks, if it takes that long, for the plumber. So yeah, but hey, everybody can see the new logo. Look at this logo. I got this months ago, just for Halloween. Well, for the spooky season. King Boo needs to give more money. Yeah. And yeah, it's super cool. I love it. Yeah, it looks sick, right? It's fuck. I can tell you who I got it from. It was on Fiverr. And the guy makes like death metal logos and Halloween-ish logos, and I'm gonna find it right now. Cuz I gotta at least talk about, because if you want to go and get something made by this guy, you should be able to, you know? How do I look at my past orders? There we go. This was from Vanger Studio, at Vanger Studio on Fiverr. Made this for me. Pretty fucking cool. Also, I might as well reveal it now. For those of you who want a copy of this logo, you can actually have a copy of this logo on whatever you like. Just a little early plug. Because I have gone and put it over on TeePublic. So you can actually go over and get it on whatever you like. So if you want it, go for it. Apparently there's a sale. This was not planned. I had no idea. I just kind of opened the page. But yeah. So if you like it enough, go for it. Otherwise, you know, don't worry about it. Anyway. So what I understand is your pipes caught Aiden's leukemia? Yes. Yeah. They leak all the time. Apparently. All because of Aiden's leukemia. It's all Aiden's fault. Yeah, I don't know. So I guess I'll talk about it a little bit. So basically, last month, my water and power bills started going up, and I was like, okay, that makes sense enough. It's a little high, you know, um, but that's, I mean, it'll balance out once I get everything going and everything. And then this past month, sorry, so 2 months ago, I guess, and this past month, I look at my water and my electric bill, and they're extremely high, way higher than they should be, for one person living alone in a house. And I realize as I'm like freaking out, because believe me, I freaked out, that the water heater that came with the house, as is, it's been running constantly, like constantly. It's always making the running noise, and that means that it's continuously using the electricity as well as water. And so I go under my house because I have a crawl space. I don't have a basement. I have a crawl space. I crawl all under my house, and I look in the corner where the water heater is, and sure enough, I'm seeing water flowing. Like, it's not super consistently flowing, but it is definitely dripping pretty fucking fast. And so I start freaking out a bit more, and then I immediately call a plumber. And that was over a week ago. It is not good at all. Yeah. So basically, I had a bit of an anxiety time. I was incredibly anxious to the point of, like, I couldn't get a hold of myself very well. It was interesting. It doesn't happen a lot, but if, a lot of things are happening at once, I get a bit anxious, right? But don't worry about that. It's not too big a deal. I was able to function. So basically, my mom came over because I was talking to my mom about it, and we spent, a good hour or so, maybe more, probably more, I don't remember, I had to figure out how to shut off my water, which I crawled under my house all over the place. I have no idea if there's a valve down there that shuts my water off from the main line. So I went and looked up on YouTube, how do you shut your water off from your house? And it showed me, like, the mainline thing, as well as the way to get it from the town water, basically, and shut it off from that, like, town valve or whatever the fuck it is, right? And so I figured that out, and I was like, okay, I gotta find that. And so then we found that, and I shut it off from there, and so now I have no water running through my house. And then we spent a while draining the old water heater, and then I bought a new water heater as well. Because I also just needed a new water heater because that thing is old as hell and bad. Not bad as in not working, but just it's not constructed well. From what I found about water heaters. So that was another expense that was incredibly a lot on top of the bills that I had. And the payment on the house and everything, right? And so now I have that water heater, which is a tankless, like, electric one. Apparently they're very good for, saving on electricity and water usage. So, I figure if I invest now, it'll help me in the long run. So I'm hoping that the plumber can also install that. Whenever he has the time again, and not COVID, because I swear to God, if I get COVID again and I have to miss out on work, I don't know what I'm gonna do. It's gonna suck. So yeah, houses will do some crazy things. It is not good. I super lost it. It was a great time. So, But anyway, speaking from experience, turn off the main breaker before disconnecting. The snippers I was using still have holes burned into it when I did. Oh, fair enough. Yeah, I have that back room where the water heater is, like, the electricity is cut to it from the main breaker. But I will probably turn just the power off just to make sure when the guy comes, so that he can, hopefully do that. Though I have really old pipes and shit. This house was from the 60s, I think it was. So, um, you know, it's up to code at least, but it's not, it doesn't have a good stuff. You also want to make sure you have a good roof on there. I still haven't gone up to my roof, because I don't have a ladder that's tall enough. So I'll see when I get my ladder, or I borrow a ladder. But so far, roof's been fine. Everything else has been fine. So, that's my horror story for today. You get real life horror, is is what I'll give you for the start of spooktacular times. Oh, homeownership. Yeah. Probably if you're in the market for something, then make sure that the place has some stuff, and you know what's going on with, like, your water heater. I lived in a place from 1900 once. Yo, that's cool. That's the thing. Like, the house isn't that bad, even though it's older, right? Like, it's from the 60s. It's got some carpet, and it's got, like, felt carpets, which suck. They're really bad. At some point, I'm gonna rip them up. But it has, like, a carpet in the living room, so that's at least something. It's not that bad, but I'm gonna rip it up anyway, right? Oh, yeah. Current house is a church from 1823. Yeah, I remember you talking about it being a church when we were doing stuff, but yeah, that's crazy. Wow. 200 years old. That's insane. Man, these guys are taking a while, aren't they? We'll see when they get here. What's cool now, by the way, that I've noticed, I don't know if anybody else has done this with Discord, if you have people that you hang out in calls with or whatever, if you're waiting on people to hang out in a call. Discord doesn't disconnect you from a call anymore. Like, this, usually what would happen is you'd have like 5 minutes and then it would disconnect you because it's like, oh, you're using all the bandwidth and stuff, right? Or something from the servers. I don't remember what the exact message was, but it would give you a message and it would disconnect you. And then you would just be on, your own thing. It's like, yeah. But now, I guess they have powerful enough stuff that you don't get disconnected. Either that or it's something to do with Nitro. I don't know. Because I bought Nitro, like, last year, and I still have it. Good luck with the house, dude. I appreciate that. Thank you. I'm doing my best, right? I'm hoping to, get it all squared away. I just gotta figure out how to make a lot of money all the time. Basically. If we need another horror story, we talk about federal loans starting up again. Oh god, I can't wait for that. It's gonna be great. Yeah, that's stuff that's on top of everything that I've been dealing with. So, it's good. I'm having a great time with that. I love that I took out loans for school because I had to. Real life. Oh, that's a good question. I see things in the chat before they come up on the screen. Have you had any experiences with your house? In quotes, Draco Kraken. Since it's an old 200-year-old house. Got any ghosts? Metal roofs cost a lot more than rubber roofs, but they also last a lot longer. Yeah, I know. My mom got a metal roof on her house when we lived up in Maine. And apparently she looked into it rather recently, and apparently it's rusting at this point. Cause I don't know. But yeah, I know about metal roofing. That's a whole thing, dude. Like, that's money to get that all set. My uncle did her roof for her, so like there was something there. But that was up in Maine when we were living in Maine, and my uncle also lived in Maine. So I wouldn't ask him to drive all the way down here to Virginia to, do that to get a little discount. That would be insane. But yeah. Ghosts, nah, but the graveyard has been lost to nature and bats live in the attic. Yo, that's awesome. Bats are a problem, though. Was there any Stephen King monsters in Maine? Oh, yeah. They're called people. No, that's the funny thing. Yeah, I'm from Maine originally, if you didn't know. And I've never read a Stephen King book. I've watched, like, I think I've only watched Pet Sematary, and that's, like, the only Stephen King movie that I've seen. I still need to watch The Shining. Don't worry about it. I know about it and everything. I just haven't watched it yet, right? But I would pass by his house, like, all the time when I was young. His house was, like, pretty easy to pass by when we were going to places. So I know where his house is in Maine. Fucking neato house. I didn't really give it too big a look, but like it's got a nice fence all around it. And apparently I remember hearing about the news story where there was a guy who was just living in his house for years who wasn't caught until he just came down to get some food one day. But nobody caught him for like years because like nobody lived there really all the time. So he just had an inopportune moment and he just got caught. And I was like, damn. Did you ever meet Alan Wake? No. I've never played Alan Wake myself, but I watched somebody play it once. It's neat. I wonder how Alan Wake 2 is going to be. I remember that was coming. Is that still coming? Should be. Yeah. I don't know. I remember, oh, wait. I think I watched a series that was also based off of Stephen King's work called Haven. Anybody know Haven? It's a TV show that's like it's just about a small town in Maine called Haven, I think. And like supernatural shit happens in it all the time and it was really really weird. It wasn't like it was just kind of something to put on in the background that I watched every now and then. Watched, quote unquote, but yeah. Alan Wake 2 is this month? Really? I don't know. I've not been keeping up with it because I've basically no interest. Other than I know Alan Wake, And it was neat. October 27th? Wow. $60 and $50 on PC? Hell yeah. There you go. Oh, and Spider-Man 2 is coming out on October 20th. Hey, that's awesome, actually. I need to finish Spider-Man and also get Miles Morales. Excuse me. Like Gravity Falls, but Maine. Yeah, but it had a lot more, like, adult drama that was shit. But Gravity Falls is actually pretty fun from the few episodes that I watched. I liked it. Wait, isn't the new Bloodlines supposed to come out soon? No, 2024. Never mind. Fall 2024. No, I'm super wrong. Forget that. God, I can't wait for that. I really hope it's good. With Payday 3 making me upset, I hope Bloodlines 2 is good. Hello.
Bloodlines 2 is alright.
No, Bloodlines 2 isn't out yet.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, no, I was thinking of Blood Hunt anyway.
Blood Hunt is good.
Yeah, Blood Hunt is pretty decent.
Yeah.
I did get kind of sick of it, but
that's fair.
It's really good.
Yeah.
It's one of the few games out there that like I actually really fucking like the
Yeah.
season pass system
Yes.
because it is free, and by the time I finish the season pass, I'm sick of playing the game. And then when the next season pass comes out, I'm like, all right, let's fucking grind it out, boys.
Yeah, I haven't played it for a long time, actually.
Yeah,
I should
I
play it
think I
again.
played it solo one time, and the rest of the times were with you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Uh,
Apologies
no, you're
for my
good.
tardiness, by the way.
Don't worry about it.
I I literally had time to get out of work, go to Costco, buy a chicken, of course,
Yes.
buy a couple hoodies, and an adorable little Rowlet plushie.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
got home, did laundry, make a salad, hop and call.
Gotcha.
Like
Yeah,
I
no,
have
that's
been
good.
going since 3:30.
I understand. I get you. Uh, the new Bloodlines just got new developers, I think. Well, yeah, they switched over developers. That was a while ago, and they basically scrapped everything that was before and gave everybody back their money, which was fucking awesome. Like,
Fuck yeah,
yeah, everybody who had pre-ordered it before, they got a refund. So like,
dude, that's super. That's super honest of them. I like that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Paradox, I think, is the one who own it. I don't know if they're doing the main development now, but Paradox is a pretty okay company. Um, hi Aiden, says Timothy.
Hello, Timothy. By the way, Alejo, my
Yes,
friend.
yes,
Um, and typically you're so good about this.
yes. I'm sorry. I was having a chat with the chat, so
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's fine. I
shut
don't
up.
I don't take it personally.
Um,
I don't feel devalued
okay.
because
Well,
of
that's
your
good.
actions tonight.
Oh, okay, good. Um, so is Payday 3 still not working? Well, it's apparently they've fixed the bugs of the server issues, but that didn't fix the model that they have of how the game is. So I haven't played it yet, and I honestly haven't had the feeling to go and actually play it yet. But I will at some point just to see what's going on at some point. But still kind of sitting in the just play Payday 2 still. Payday 2 is good. And it has all the content now, so you don't need to worry about anything, really. And you can play by yourself if you want to. It's good. Like, right off the bat, with no wait times. It's great, except for the loading screens, but that's not waiting for a server. And yeah, judging from the reviews, no. Oh yeah, those reviews are gonna stay negative for a long time. Oh, that reminds me, Aiden.
Mm.
Um, I was looking at the Steam homepage, and I saw that
Mm.
Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 was
Mm.
on there, and I saw that you owned it.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know if you've played it any recently at all.
Not within the past couple months.
Okay. I was gonna ask then, but you probably don't know. Why the fuck is Spawn on the picture for that now?
Oh, is he?
Yeah. Why have they taken Spawn and put him into Modern Warfare 2?
I do not know. Grant me but a moment.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. Yay plushie. Uh
Dude, he's so cute. It's a little sleeping Rowlet, and Rowlet
oh,
is like one of my favorite Pokemon
Rowlet's
because he's
cool.
cute. Yeah, it's either Rowlet or Cyndaquil, and
Yeah,
honestly, I've been on the Cyndaquil train for fucking years, but like it kind of swaps back and forth.
understood. Uh
Um,
As far as I know, Paradox just bought the IP and handed the game to a different studio. It was weird. The forums for the game were shut down for a while as well. Okay. Yeah, I think whatever happened, they still at least gave everybody their money back. That was super cool. Bungled launches tend to kill games. Payday 3 probably won't get a player base for a while, if ever. Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea.
okay, I have your answer for you, Alejo.
Okay, please.
He's an operator skin.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's right. They did operators. Because everything has to be a hero shooter now. That's right. Okay.
Well, it's not like class. Like operator is a real big word.
Oh, okay. It's not actually.
You don't get any like powers or anything, and
Oh.
it's literally just what you look like.
Okay, it's just a skin, basically. Okay, gotcha.
No, it's
That's good.
literally just cosmetic.
Okay. That's fine. But interesting. Okay. Whatever, Todd McFarlane, do whatever you want to do. All this recent news about bad AA/AAA launches really makes me glad that the indie scene seems to be doing well. Megaquarium and Cassette Beasts are getting DLC soon, and I'm hype as fuck. I don't know either of those, but I am glad for you.
I remember hearing of Cassette Beasts, but I know like nothing about it.
I got a room full of plushies. Hell yeah. I have a few that I've gotten over the years, so, but not a lot. Okay.
I have a couch full of plushies, and then occasionally, like every couple weeks, I rotate them out and I bring one to work and I put it on my desk.
Oh yeah, there you go. Nice. Well, now that we've started talking about like good things, we should talk about horror. Because it's spooky times.
Scared.
I'm sorry. It's also where your anime figures are. Fair enough. But so today's topic is horror. Mainly we have just in time. Hello. Oh, can't hear you.
Okay.
Oh, hey, there we go. I can hear you.
There we go.
How's it going?
Good. How about you?
Oh, doing all right.
That's good.
Yeah.
I'll get
quieter.
Together.
Gotta turn you up. You're a little quiet on my end.
Oh, am I?
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay, is that any better?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go. And I'll just change if need be.
Yep.
Okay. Oh, I can always keep playing Dynasty Warriors. Yeah, go for it, Lux. And hi, Boo Senpai, says Timothy.
Hello.
Okay.
Hello, Timothy Kohai.
Aha!
That doesn't actually really work, but
no. That's okay. So, as I was saying, today we're going to be talking about spooky stuff. Horror. Now, I was doing my little bit of trundling along in YouTube, as I do before this show. And I ran into an old favorite of Dungeon Masterpiece. Our Baron, I never can hear what he says when he says his last name. But I started watching this 6-minute video. And in fact, I kept watching this 6-minute video.
Oh.
And I was not upset.
Oh my god.
I was actually quite pleased.
Okay.
Now, there are a few things that I would like to discuss about the points that he raises for how to run horror in D&D, as the title says. Because I think there's some things that we could kind of hash out a bit to make it work better for us. As well as just maybe make it a little more general and put some guidelines for people out there, potentially. But he's got some good stuff here. Because it's not hard to come up with good ideas as to how to run horror.
Yeah.
Really, really isn't. So
it's just kind of hard to get the more so like the meta tone right for D&D specifically.
Yes, that is always the thing.
Yeah.
I will be totally honest, I am dog shit at horror.
Fair.
I like, don't get me wrong, I like doing horror insofar as like body horror, because I like creating my necromancer, just like they're super creative. Like the players arrive upon a town and from their hill overlook, they can see what look like shapes leaping up to like the third-story buildings and
Yeah.
smashing through windows, and that's because a necromancer made like mantis zombies.
Right.
Ooh.
That being said, though, I am really bad at setting the tone for like spooky.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like the most reliable way I've been able to do it is to make things really lethal. Which like works, I guess, but feels a little cheap.
Yeah, exactly, right? The other part that we always talk about is you got to get your players into that mindset. Like, you got to have a conversation with them of like, okay, this is going to be a spooky time, right?
Yeah, this is
Like,
a horror game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ultimately, I think you will have a really hard time running horror without player buy-in.
Yes. 100%. So it's one of those things that it's really easy to come up with good ideas on how to run it. It's hard to execute that well enough that people will actually be scared, right?
Yeah.
Quote unquote. Well, at least feel like it's good horror, I guess. Worthy of being slightly frightful. So yeah, it's just interesting to see other people's ideas, and this is specifically about D&D 5e. So the first thing that I thought was like, oh, well, you got to take care of the not being able to die problem, because that kind of really takes away the tension if you're very much in a way of healing yourself up to full all the time. But I think that's his first thing that he goes into. So it gave me a little bit of like, okay, all right, yeah, good idea. Let's do this. So, let me read a couple more things and then we will start. At this point, I'm pretty sure I've spent more time playing Dynasty Warriors than any individual person spent fighting in World War II. Fair enough. This guy, oh shit, don't worry. This time, it's actually going to be okay. I'm also dog shit at running horror, unless I have a module at least. Yeah, modules definitely help, because you can have them set the tone for you in a lot of instances, right? Plus they have everything that's specifically designed to be the horror kind of thing, right? But yeah, I think, I don't know if, to be fair, I have no idea if I'm good at it or not. I just know that I like doing it. It's fun, right? Thinking of doing a horror story with Leroy and the gang that Kobold Crast has something to do with it. Kobold Cast? Or Kobold Crast? I don't know. But yeah, go for it. 100%. Okay. So, this is only 6 minutes and 40 seconds. Not too bad. Let's go.
Dungeon Masters, I'm Baron DeRob. Halloween is just around the corner, and your friends are probably too old for trick-or-treating. So you've decided to run a horror one-shot adventure instead. Of course, 5th edition D&D really isn't that great at facilitating the same sense of dread that we experience when watching films like Rosemary's Baby, The Thing, or Alien. Fortunately, with just a few tweaks to the rule set and a few considerations for encounter design, this problem can be quickly remediated. The biggest contributor to an adventure's lack of horror is player character durability, yet modifying that durability comes with its own problems. One of the major roadblocks to altering the mechanics of 5th edition is how tightly wound the entire system is onto itself. Removing one mechanic almost always has negative cascading ramifications on subclass abilities, spell definitions, or combat actions. And there's no mechanic that's more exemplary of this phenomenon.
Oh, actually, hold on. He's going to go into mechanics. I was going to say, what are some examples you guys think of that? Because I don't really. Except, like, all I know is like spell casting and stuff. Like
spell casting, as well as like something like Second Wind. I assume. Well, it really depends on what we're removing, right?
Yeah.
He hasn't given a definite, like, you removed something, and so this will now cascade into. He hasn't given you a definite answer. He just said that if you remove stuff, it can lead to Or is he saying it will lead to that? I don't actually remember the wording. I'll bring it back a little bit, but
No.
but regardless, he hasn't given a clear example yet.
On subclass abilities, spell definitions, entire system is onto itself. Removing one mechanic almost always has negative cascading ramifications on
Almost
subclass.
always.
Yeah, almost always. So if we remove entirely death saving throws, I guess, since we're on the subject of death saves, right? Like entirely take it out. Which means you remove, saving yourself from dying like even once. You're just relying on, well, no, you would just die at 0 basically. Like,
you just die at 0.
Right.
Or you die at the negative con if you wanted to add that in.
Yeah, there's also that. I think the -10 was the thing as well that you could do. But yeah. So basically, it would change the experience to be more hardcore.
Yes.
But is that necessarily catastrophic? No. But then again, he said almost always, so we found one at least. If you remove...
let's actually find out what he was going to suggest removing before we go into a big old dissertation on it.
Yeah, I agree.
Sure.
Abilities, spell definitions, or combat actions. And there's no mechanic that's more exemplary of this phenomenon than death saves. From healing spells, cantrips, resting, and even racial abilities, death saves are so interwoven into the game's rules that we can't just reasonably get rid of them. However, if we are going to threaten characters with a real possibility of a grim demise, these death saves have to be dealt with somehow. So, what do?
Okay, wait. So before we
So
get to
I don't
his
understand why removing death saves would have any impact on resting.
Yeah,
doesn't...
So I think there is the mechanic, if I recall correctly, and I could be wrong about this, where you continuously have your failed death saves until you take a long rest. Is that a mechanic that I'm quoting correctly?
Maybe.
Isn't that homebrew?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I don't know if that's homebrew or if that's official. I have no idea. Because I never see it used, to be fair. And neither do you see that being too much of an issue, usually. But, so, I don't know of any abilities that get completely whacked with no death saves.
Yeah, the only thing that came up in my mind immediately was like Relentless Endurance for half-orcs, but it doesn't even. Because it just stops you. It just stops you. Yeah, it just stops you from dying once.
Yeah, and that's just if you were to hit 0, you don't.
Yeah.
So
that doesn't even affect death saves.
No, death saves aren't affected by anything, as far as I know.
Technically speaking, it would be a huge silent buff to Relentless Endurance.
Yes.
Oh, sure.
That's true. Yeah, so you would probably want to be a half-orc, like, all the time.
Yeah. Why play anything else? Which then, consequently, will kind of nerf, like, caster classes half-orcs aren't as good at.
That's true. Yeah, so I guess if we look at the opposite way of it not taking away from... Well, it is still taking away from other things, but it doesn't immediately take something away. It buffs something to the point of making it so other things are obsolete. Then I suppose then you could say, yeah, it kind of makes it so that now everybody's kind of pigeonholed into doing something specific.
Yeah. However, death saves were what I was thinking of would be the cleanest and easiest example of something you to just straight up remove.
That's why I was saying in the beginning. Yeah.
Yeah, because like nothing really affects death saves except for, as Boo mentioned, Relentless Endurance, which allows you to bypass it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, I do
seems like one of the easiest things to remove, honestly.
True. At least from memory of how 5e works, it seems to be. But I do at least like what he has as his amendment to death saves.
Okay.
Which we'll get to in a second, because I see a lot of things popped in. A lot. Honestly, I feel like true horror campaigns are hard because of the separation of player and character. But this is why Eldritch slash psychological horror works, because the player is the psyche somewhat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Crest. Oh, Kobold Crest. I got you. I can tell I don't make the live streams very often because when you said the video was only 6 minutes, my first instinct was to check the length of the VOD to see how long it'd take to get through. That's all right, Rika. That's all right. Hey, it's Steely. Good evening, good people. Driving home from Universal Studios, Halloween Horror Nights 2023 was off the hook. The haunted houses were amazing this year. That's awesome.
Very cool.
I can't do haunted houses. I'm a coward.
He is a coward.
I'm a coward. I'd just stick to some flavor of heroic fantasy with D&D. Yeah. Could run something in Castlevania's tone, though. Oh, for sure. Well, that's...
Ooh.
I mean, Curse of Strahd.
Yeah, because, like, that Castlevania style tends to be a lot less horror, more atmospheric. Yeah. Kind of like how Ravenloft, like a classic Ravenloft was, where it was a lot more gothic.
Yes.
And you're not going there because it's scary. You're going there because, like, ooh, look at the fucking gothic architecture and the cool, like, you know, Imperium style shit.
Yeah. Totally. Does more scary always mean more hardcore? No.
No,
not necessarily. Pathfinder 2 has the death saves persist till long rest, and some class features and feats interact with death saves. Okay, so Pathfinder 2 has it. That might be what I was thinking of. Not sure.
Well, that's the wounded.
Wounded and all that. Yeah, for sure. Which works really well for that. And if you did remove that, it would completely break the game.
Yeah, that would be a big problem in Pathfinder.
Yes.
Boo, I have a D&D request of you.
Okay.
I would like to change this campaign to Pathfinder.
No. I'm not fucking I'm not going through all those goddamn calculations. Because then I'm going to be like, what the fuck? You hit for 400 damage. He only had 300 health. The boss was supposed to have like 3,000. Shit. You know?
Of course, I don't really have any tolerance for characters doing that thing you're always shouting at the screen for them not to do in horror movies. When I play in horror, I specifically avoid doing those things. Oh yeah, fair enough. I can imagine running horror monsters as melee fighters that continue attacking down players so you automatically lose death saves could work, though you'd probably need to telegraph that somehow. Yes, yeah, for sure. You need... Yeah. We'll get to that.
Oh.
So, let's see what he has for his death saves.
Easy. Get rid of all passing death saves, as well as all but one failing death save. This change maintains the way other abilities interact with these death save mechanics, but strips away the bulk of character durability. What's great about this change is that we can come up with narrative
Did he say do this as, like, a campaign change, like make it so that's impossible to change a death save? I actually had that in my campaign. Specifically for pets.
Nice.
So typically, if it is like I don't know, like a cat or a bear or something, if it hits 0 or negative hit points, it's just straight up dead.
Yeah.
In general, I don't entitle my NPCs to any sort of death saving throw.
No, sure.
That's kind of how I want to show how a 5e campaign is a group of remarkable individuals.
Yeah, 100%.
That's a good idea.
And that they can get up from what would be a mortal blow for other people.
I like that.
Yeah, it's just a very simple, very clean thing. I also do that for like pets. And then if so for instance, in my campaign, the rogue had a pseudo dragon pet. And I was like, okay, a pseudo dragon is a remarkable animal. It will be entitled to death saving throws, but I will make it so that it's impossible for it to pass a death saving throw. So even if it nat 20s, that's that does nothing.
Right.
But it still has the extra turns for the other players to come along and try to save it.
Exactly.
Yep.
It's just a question of how long.
Yep. I see.
I get you. For sure. Yeah, I think the standard is usually you don't give NPCs the ability to save from death because that's silly. They're not, I mean, unless they are exceptional themselves, like they're like a main antagonist, potentially you could have them stabilize, right? Or get up at 1 HP, which would be interesting. But
I have rival NPCs that are part of like rival groups at like a guild or something.
Yeah, exactly.
That are all essentially level matching to my PCs.
Yeah.
Which is in itself notable because level cap in my world, unless you are like a lich, is like 6.
Jesus.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so like once you then that's like another way of showing remarkability is the fact that unlike a normal person, their skills just keep climbing.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's I think, but so I'll let him say his next piece because his next piece also helps me with what I wanted to talk about.
Excuses for the mechanical alterations in
Actually, I'll drag it back so we get the full thing.
What's great about this change is that we can come up with narrative excuses for these mechanical alterations in fiction as well. When players start looking for a dungeon in a haunted wood, shrouded in a terrible fog, characters may lose all their passing death saves thanks to this fog, and further lose more and more failing death saves as they delve deeper and deeper into the dungeon.
Yeah, so basically, we're going to have a sponsored moment in a second, but basically, so the idea for those of you out there that might not follow through with it entirely, we have, instead of having all your death saving throws that are successes and failures, you have one failure, and that's it. Now, I like the idea that he's proposing here of having it more narrative, where, say you're in the overworld, quote unquote, right? You can have your death saves and such, right? Like, you're not in a necessarily more hostile area unless you travel to one. You would lose the ability to succeed at those death saves and not die as you go into more hostile environments. That way you can have it be where you have now a mechanical thing that backs up this place is actually fucking dangerous, right? Not just that things are doing more damage or anything. Something could kill you with 1,000 cuts just because you might not actually survive it because you'll get downed and then not survive your death saving throw. And then you get down to your 1, once you fail it, you're done. You're dead, right? So it's the same concept as what Aiden's saying of, like, for pets specifically, like he was saying, like, yeah, you can succeed, sure, cool, nice, you didn't die, I guess.
Yeah.
Right,
you lived.
Yeah,
right. And so you can play with it and kind of have it be like, some places you can actually survive and have your death saving throws where if you succeed you will actually be able to get back up / stabilize yourself. And some other places you don't have it at all, and it's like, oh god, but this place has 3 at least, and this place only has 1. Right? To actually bring that tension up a bit more.
Something you could also do is, as a DM, I've found that it's incredibly easy to pigeonhole yourself into thinking, if there is, like, say, for instance, a wild beast, a wolf. And it has a person downed who is unconscious in front of it.
Yes.
Why would it pause from attacking the active threat in order to secure a kill? It doesn't care about its kill count.
Yeah.
Right.
So why would it ever do that? And it's very easy as DMs to go, all right, it moves on to the next enemy, which is horribly suboptimal. And kind of negates the whole thing that Wizards of the Coast tried to give us.
Yes.
Of, like, getting attacked while you're downed is a failure of 2 death saves.
Yes, that is true.
So what I'm more of a fan of is, instead of describing someone as unconscious when they're at 0 hit points, I describe them as incapacitated. So that can mean they're unconscious, sure. It also can mean that they were like took a heavy fucking blow to the chest, got knocked flat on their back, and are gasping for breath.
Right. Yeah.
Mm.
In which case it can make a lot more sense for a hostile NPC to go, oh shit, wait, hold on, I can take advantage of this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Another option that you would have with beasts and stuff.
Can I just finish my thing real quick?
Yes.
So typically I will describe if someone like falls on the ground that they're like gasping for breath and like eyes unfocused and like unsure what's going on around them. Now your thing, Boo.
Another option you can have with beasts is if you've got the wolf, instead of it, if you don't want to have it do the thing where the player's down, it kills them now, you could easily say that, oh, it sees that you're down, you're weak, and you're like enfeebled. It's gonna like grab you.
Yeah.
It's gonna like grab like the hem of your cloak, and it's gonna start dragging you away into the bushes.
Exactly.
So that way it can devour you in safety. But since it's dragging a person, presumably in armor or with a big backpack or with heavy clothing,
it's gonna be a little slower.
It'll be a lot slower. So it's not going to kill you immediately, but if it drags you far enough away, it will. So you do have a couple turns left.
I did that once and I completely forgot about it until you mentioned it. The rogue in my campaign was a Kenku. And I was like, oh, birds are very light. It's going to go, oh, I can snag a quick and easy meal and the herd won't care because herds don't pursue. Yes. Like if you snag a buffalo calf, the entire herd's not going to attack you.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It just goes, "Whoa, it wasn't me."
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's very good ways to actually do that for sure because predators usually want to, do things in the safety of their own territory or whatever, right?
This actually brings me. I just thought of this just now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry. I don't mean to interrupt you, Alejo.
No. I was just gonna say it just makes sense that you would like if you want to do that for any animal type that is a predator. It's not too hard to justify that they wouldn't outright kill. If you want to do something like that. Otherwise, I mean, if it's something that doesn't give a shit about everybody else around it because it's so big and strong and it knows, right? It's a magical beast of some sort, right? It knows it's big and strong, usually.
Mm-hmm.
Then it can start doing it and going, hey, fuck you on the ground and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, go
on. So I was thinking about like in what sort of situations it would make more like sense in world,
right,
for a character getting downed to like be finished off. And I was thinking, so what if they're attacked by say a pack of wolves?
Mm-hmm.
A pack of wolves attacks the level 1 party, and one of the wolves takes like a heavy hit and manages to get out on like 3 of its 10 hit points. Instead of it running off into the darkness, what if it instead stays by the sidelines?
Oh yeah,
and yeah, it just kind of paces around and looks for an opening.
Yeah.
And if someone gets downed, they will rush to the downed person and start ripping into them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the thing of just looking into and actually researching animal behavior, right? Just so that you can have them act a little bit more realistic. That way it's not like it's not you trying to, or you are trying to make it more deadly, but you're not trying to, make it seem artificial, right? And if you do shit like that,
I will straight up tell you what I'm trying to do as DM. I'm trying to take advantage of when the player gets downed.
Right. Sure. It's one of those things where it's like, oh yeah, but this works, right? Because even if they go, what the fuck? It's like, hey man, have you seen what these creatures do? Like, do you know?
They eat people.
It's crazy.
They're scavengers and hunters. That's actually, speaking of scavengers, that's another thing you could do. If you have it where There are two ways you could do this. You could have it be where it's kind of like a lion / hyena / cheetah kind of thing,
right?
Where you could have a cheetah like take something down, or something small, take something down like a pack of wolves or a cheetah, and instead of it immediately going in for the kill, it's like looking around like paranoidly, because other scavengers will try to like scare it off of the kill. So you might have a pack of wolves that are like looking around and making sure they don't kill you too quick because they don't want the smell to draw in the local fucking like dire cave bear that'll absolutely come in and scare them off of their kill.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, the relationships of nature.
Yeah, because that's something that lions and cheetahs actually have to put up with, where they'll take something and then a pack of hyenas will come chase them off their kill.
Right.
Yeah. They'll like drag it up into a tree.
Yeah, that's right. Super cool. Nature is fucking awesome.
Damn, nature.
Damn, nature, you scary.
Another thing you could do would be something like symbiotic relationships between monsters, where you have a spider that symbiotically coexists with a frog, where the spider protects the frog's eggs from smaller insects with its web, and the frog protects the spider from other larger insects and like small vertebrates like birds and mice and stuff.
Yeah, they like build like dens together.
Yeah,
it's kind of adorable.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
Something I would recommend other players do, and I've only ever done this once in my campaign, and I kind of regret it. Use like Boo mentioned symbiotic relationships. I would have ravens circle overhead as like a sign that danger is coming.
Yeah.
My players never picked up on it, but I specifically used the ravens in like some like national park have a symbiotic I think it's in Yosemite, have a symbiotic relationship with the wolves that were added there. And that the wolves will the crows will circle and fly overhead, and they'll find smaller prey and they'll start circling them, and then that will tell the wolf pack where to go. And then the wolves get to eat the the crows get to eat the scraps.
Ooh.
That's cool.
You can do something similar with the ocean, where seagulls will flock over where there's a big feeding frenzy.
Yes.
Ooh, I like that.
That is true.
Ooh, that just gave me an idea for like a fucking like gigantic kraken that spends most of its days like swimming near enough to the surface where like you can see the patch of dark water where it is, and then seagulls just follow that around because they know shipwrecks will appear.
Yep.
Ooh,
either shipwrecks or schools of fish that are being like driven upwards toward the surface, because you've got those diving birds that dive straight down. They fucking swim fly like 20 feet.
Make like a nautical horror one-shot campaign where like if one of the players happens to be a fisher, be like, you recognize this type of fish, it belongs at a way deeper depth than
yeah, totally.
These are fucking anglerfish. Like either prey brought them up here, or like have, as the players start out, they encounter NPCs that are like, oh yeah, the anglerfish are swimming higher because their prey is swimming higher.
Right.
Because of reasons, I guess.
Because I don't know. You figure it out.
It's been a warm summer.
Yeah.
And then as they get like farther and farther on, it's like you start recognizing creatures that don't necessarily prey on other creatures. Like stuff like whales that like filter feed on krill. Like
yeah, totally.
They feed like maybe once every 2 months. Why are they moving? Because all of the prey moved last week. And then start hinting that they're running from something.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like I actually in contrast to something symbiotic, it's more of the predatory nature. of the forest. You know, you have all your forest animals and stuff that are making sounds and all that, and the forest kind of gets a little quieter as you get closer to danger, right? Yeah. I did that for when I did a one shot for a Wendigo thing in D&D where I made it silent at some point.
I think you did that in Project Astatine.
I probably did. Yeah. Oh yeah, I did. I did that for the Dogman thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I did. Yep. I meant to do a lot more stuff like that, but you know, that whole thing was fucking borked, so. But yeah, it's just one of those things of like, it tells people about danger, because when all the little fucking birds stop making noise and they've gone out of the area and you don't even hear fucking crickets or anything, it's like, yeah, something bad's going on. Don't want to be here.
That's why you as a narrator in D&D kind of have a bit more power than in like a lot of other media, movies, for instance, TV shows, in that you don't have to have background audio for something that like disappears. So if you want the crickets to disappear, you can just not mention the crickets and then be like, oh, hey, roll a nature check.
Right, yeah.
By the way, it's about this time that you realize you don't hear any crickets.
Exactly.
And that's when you see two eyes poking out from under the bush.
Yep. Good stuff. It's really good
That's
stuff.
A big cricket.
Oh, God! It's the mutant cricket!
It's a dire cricket!
Attack of the 50-foot cricket! Yeah. Oh yeah, Brogan is the Pathfinder guy, silly. That's right, yeah. I have a question for Aiden. Which Lich is the strongest in your world? And I'm gonna assume it's the one who's trying to do the thing with death.
He is not the strongest because he's very new to Lichdom. He's only like 500 years old.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Like, he is a baby Lich.
I got you.
Haven't really
so kind of like mine. So that means you can suplex him.
Hey!
Yeah. Haven't really had to discuss it or had to spare too much thought on it. I've really only designed the one Lich because I believe Liches should be designed like, if you're designing a Lich, that's like a month-long project.
Yeah.
They need to be designed upon design upon design with like fail-safes upon fail-safes. On every layer of their tower. It's a fucking ordeal. I got around that by having my Lich's tower be in a pocket dimension.
Yeah, exactly. Safeguards upon safeguards upon... fuck that. He's in a pocket dimension.
Exactly.
I think this should have a lot of thought. You know what? Fuck it.
He had like a big tower like in world.
Yeah.
But because the inside of like every room was a pocket dimension leading to a few rooms, I only ever had to design like a few rooms at a time.
Yeah. And
I was like, I can design an entire Lich dungeon with like 3 rooms and be like, why would you ever explore more?
Yeah, that's...
And that's if he's taking you to a floor, you're not getting in. You are a level 4 party.
Yeah. I can never tell which Lich is which. Ocean stuff is great for horror. We definitely need more TTRPG thalassophobia, fear of deep ocean. Well, I have a little bit of some ocean stuff going on in my thing that I still need to edit together, so there you go. The Astatine thing that will be coming at some point, I promise you. I just need to not have everything going on right now. Cool idea with the tower thing. There you go.
Oh, thank you.
All right, let's watch a sponsor. That's exciting. This was from, by the way, this was from 11 months ago, so I'm sure this link, whatever it is dead by this point. But you never know.
If you're needing some guidance on what kind of horrible monsters to use, or even ideas for a whole horror adventure, check out this video's sponsor, Describe. Describe is a database filled with tons of inspirational descriptions of monsters, magic items, encounters, and more. I love this particular entry about an illithid skulking around in a thieves' den. Great ideas like this are enough to inspire a whole adventure. What might start as a simple raid on a band of rogues deep in the city's ratways turns into a terrifying game of cat and mouse with a mind flayer. While investigating...
No, I actually did, like, skip through this when I was watching this before, because I don't care for sponsors when I'm watching my own stuff, or when watching things on my own, usually. Unless it's something that's funny, or, like, entertaining enough for me to watch. I've gone to Describe. We went to Describe once, I think, on the show, I think. It's neat. You should check it out. It's got some free stuff, and I think there is some paid stuff that you can access, but the free stuff is just as good. So, go check it out. It's actually really cool.
Technically, the free stuff would be better by default because it's good, but then it is also free.
That is true. Free does mean that it's better in this case.
Yeah.
Few kidnappings from up on the surface, it slowly becomes evident, while down in the sewers, that the Thieves Guild isn't
Okay, wait, pause that.
The spoilers.
Is the fucking... Are those, like, giant octopus body bunny things that
I think they are
a big long worm mouth?
Yeah, I was gonna say that looks like bunny ears, so I think you're right.
Yeah, it looks like bunny ears, and you can see the, like, on the one in the back right side, you can see the eyes and the little nose.
It's so Geiger.
What the fuck?
Incredibly Geiger.
Yeah.
That's fucking weird. Hey, go on.
No, you're good.
If you'd like to get more inspirational prompts like this for your adventure writing, check out the link in the description below and use the coupon code Baron when you sign up to get 10% off. Thanks to Scribe for sponsoring this video.
So wait, his name is Baron? That's fucking awesome.
No, I think that's just the title that he has for his persona.
Oh, that sucks. Never mind. Madness.
While there is a madness table in the Dungeon Master's Guide, there's hardly any references to that table from elsewhere in the game. As a result, we as Dungeon Masters don't have good indicators of how to use this table in the first place. However, we can take lead from the panic system found in the sci-fi horror RPG Mothership. As a rule of thumb, ask your players to make a wisdom or maybe a charisma save every time your players encounter an aberration or monstrosity, lose more than half their hit points from a single attack, watch another character die, whenever their torches go out in...
Oh, so it's Darkest Dungeon rules.
Yeah. Or
all four of those are, yeah.
Like, it's very simple, but it is at least something, right?
Yeah, it is a thing.
Inside a dungeon, or whenever the players are enduring some other kind of acute stress. If you hammer your players with these madness saves frequently over the course of an adventure, aim for a DC value that will give the players roughly a 20 to 30% chance of failure, or 6 plus half the PC's level.
Okay, so this is where I wanted to pause it for the first bit. So I like
the DC. Oh, I like that.
Yes, I was gonna say I like, first off, the idea. Because I'm a fan of Call of Cthulhu and Delta Green, right? Giving people a taste of madness is very fun. And having them act that out in whatever ways they want to and whatever you decide to have happen is very fun to do. And honestly, what I would say for something like D&D or anything that you want to put some sort of madness system into, do what I would do in Delta Green, where I go, okay, so we're in this situation, you've hit your breaking point or whatever, and you're gonna get a new thing. What do you think? What should the character get in this situation? Because you've got all this stuff going on, whatever just happened, maybe it's something to do with that, or maybe you're like thinking of something else so that you can put your mind to something else so that you don't necessarily like have to deal with it so much, right? Like, what works for your character in this situation, and really discuss it with the player, right? Because then it makes it their own, right? You're not forcing a thing on them, really. You could in certain instances for sure, but having them choose what happens to their character really gives it more of a more I guess, importance to them, right? Because they get to decide what's going on. And this DC being 6 plus half your level sounds great to me, because as things go on, it'll go up higher, and as you said, 20 to 30%, right? So it's not super high, but it is possible. And he'll get into more of what goes on later if you get multiple of these to happen. But I think this is a great DC. It's great.
Yeah, honestly, I like the idea of doing plus level over 2.
Yes,
because I'm so used and so conditioned to seeing minus level over 2 that like I paused and was like, I repeated the point back, and while I was repeating it, I was like, oh
yeah. It really does click.
I love the idea of, as they've seen more shit, it becomes even harder. It's very Darkest Dungeon. Fuck, I should replay Darkest Dungeon.
Was Darkest Dungeon 2 good? I don't know.
From what I've understood, the combat system is different. Not worse, just they changed a few things.
Okay.
They made it so that there's less time prepping, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Except for if you're a freak like me who takes kind of more joy in prepping than for the adventure.
Yeah.
But anyway, the way you like travel from fight to fight is via like a wagon system. I'm sure you've seen like the wagon on the twisting road, and there's almost like train runner lanes of like left, middle, or right lane, which loot will appear in that you can run over.
Gotcha.
The loot's pretty decent, not necessarily mandatory.
Okay.
So like it's one of those things where it can help if you grab every single piece, but like it's kind of not really worth the effort sometimes, if I'm being real.
Nice.
And opinion is divided because on the wagon system in particular, because it's not good, like at all.
Ooh.
And it's kinda for people who want to hyper optimize like me, but don't want to bother with bad gameplay like me. It makes me feel as if I'm forced to do the wagon, and I don't want to do the wagon. Goddammit! I will roll a dice, and you just tell me what percentage of the loot I pick up. I'm fine with that. I don't care. Just make it not nothing.
Okay, all right. Thank you for that. I've not looked into it at all. I had no desire for Darkest Dungeon 2.
Now here's the thing. I don't own Darkest Dungeon 2. I've never played Darkest Dungeon 2.
I understand.
But I know this from watching streams of like people who I trust, and I'm like, oh good god, this game would be a nightmare for me.
Gotcha. I understand. Mind Flayer versus Lich. Lich.
Yeah, Lich. Easy peasy. Every time, in fact.
Yeah. Madness. I like madness. Yes. I did like the Delta Green madness system. Yeah. Mind Flayer Lich. Yes. That would be cool.
Alright.
Delta
beat by a Draco Lich.
Yeah, Jesus.
Yeah, Delta Green system works really well. I agree. I really like it. Darkest Oregon Trail.
Oh, Jesus Christ. It's already so hard, man.
Boo, you're the ghost. How do you scare people?
Oh, jeez.
Well,
you make a big loud noise.
You make a big loud noise, and you make sure that there is a convenient thunderstorm with lightning outside.
Ooh, yeah, for the ambiance in the back.
Yeah.
By the way, I don't know if anyone here was aware, but like Did you know that flipping someone off at the exact same moment that thunder strikes is known as a thunderbird?
No.
Really?
And it is currently the most powerful swear known to mankind.
That's amazing.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Oh, that's so good.
I didn't know that. Sick as hell.
That's awesome.
I'm willing to bet that you're bullshitting, but I still like it.
I saw it once on the internet, so it must be true.
Right,
Okay.
exactly.
Yeah.
Then
that's fine.
Yeah. No, I got you. And honestly, it is.
Yes.
It is, because I have said it, and
Yes.
I'm on the
Oh,
internet.
yeah.
So
Why would you lie to us? Of course.
Yeah.
All right.
Why would I?
So more madness.
For more interest, you can tell players that they can resist the effects of madness by forfeiting inspiration or perhaps even the hit dice they'd use on a short rest. Also, be sure to...
So, also a good usage, because
Yeah.
hit die, at least from my experience, are barely ever fucking used.
Yeah.
Because short rests are cool and all, but usually trying to get my key back or whatever it is that I have on my short rest, like my spell slots if I'm a warlock.
Mm-hmm.
I also kind of like the idea of, like a party short resting as soon as their monk runs out of key. They're like, all right, now we all get like dice to like buy away madness points with. Like, make it so that you have to spend. Oh,
so
what if? Oh, go on.
Well, I was just because you seem to be there's a misconception here. He's just saying you would flat out just use them out of anything. Like if you have madness that you are going to get, you would spend your hit die so that you don't get it. You're burning the resource.
I would like it if you had to spend the resource ahead of time. So if you didn't yet know that you were going to lose sanity, but you're like, do I want to avoid losing sanity in the future, or do I want health now?
Okay.
What sort of game am I gonna play? What am I getting? What sort of class am I playing?
Yeah,
what's my play style?
That actually, because then you have that risk reward, which we all very much enjoy a lot of the time. I prefer that for sure. Okay.
As one of the things I've come to learn as a DM, and one of the things that has really opened the door for me creatively, is realizing that I, as a DM, love making bargains with my players. Mm-hmm. Where, like, I've described it before, Alejo, of, like, if you have a special martial move, will you give me, like, 1d6 rounds of half movement speed? I'll give you an extra d6 on the damage.
Yes. Yeah. No, I gotcha.
Like, I like being, like, literally the devil to my players of, like, what will you bargain for your soul?
Yeah.
No, of course.
Honestly, with that mindset, I think you would fucking love 7th Sea.
Oh, probably.
Because it's got a whole system where
you
give the DM, they have like danger points or whatever, and DMs use danger to actually like do shit. They always start out with some equal to like the number of players times 2 or something like that.
Okay.
But if you like roll a skill check or something and you fail, or it's something like you really need to do, you can be like, hey, you get another danger token so I can add a d6 to my roll or something like that.
Okay.
And then it's a lot more in depth than that. I haven't read the whole book in a while, but it's really cool.
So I have a really big smile creeping across my face because that sounds so fun.
Yeah.
Also, because I'm realizing I'm a bastard in that I will totally give the DM permission to fuck with the party if it gives me loot.
Oh yeah.
So like,
and you guys call me the loot goblin, Baldur's Gate.
Because the way I see it, if I get 100% of the reward and have to pay only, say I'm in a party of 4, 25% of the cost, why would I ever not take that bargain?
Yeah.
Like, I would totally be an enabler for my storyteller. I'd be like, dude, do whatever the hell you want. Just give me, like, enchanted cannonballs and shit.
Let's see.
No, the systems in that game are fucking crazy as hell, along with, like, the magic and stuff. Some of the magic is really, really weird and crazy. It's, like, fortune-telling and, like, future stuff.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It's super interesting.
Cool.
Yeah. And one of my favorite things from that game, sorry, this is the last thing, I promise. You can choose different styles of dueling. Oh. And so you can have, like, a rapier and, like, a main gauche or a broadsword or a battle axe. But my two favorites are cutlass and net, I think it was.
Oh.
And rapier and a lantern.
Oh.
So you're fighting with a sword and a lit lantern, which is fucking awesome.
Yeah. I can think of.
You should look into those books sometimes. At some time, Aiden. You might really like them.
What's the title one more time?
It's called 7th Sea. 7 with it's from Chaosium.
Yeah. I remember this. This was gonna be a campaign.
Yeah, I was gonna run it
at some point.
Yeah, it's gonna be a long time. But like,
I remember like talking about it when you and I were playing the pirate game.
Sea of Thieves.
Sea of Thieves.
Yeah. No, dude, you should look into it. It's very cool. Anyway, go on.
No, you're good. I tried to summon Bloody Mary once, but nothing happened. Oh, sad. Boo, there's a thunderstorm now. Quick, do something scary.
I flipped off my...
yeah!
There you go. I had no other options.
I understand.
By the way, Boo, before we get too off the topic of 7th Sea, I'm looking up images of it now.
Yep.
And I've seen this. And I don't really care about this setting. Who cares? However, it does make me think, what would a 7th Sea cyberpunk campaign maybe look like?
Ooh,
oh my god, that would be very interesting.
That'd be cool.
Because like if you're on a job, things can go wrong literally all the time for almost any reason.
Mm-hmm. And you do roll like, d10s in 7th Sea.
Oh god.
Oh no. Yeah, it is all d10s.
Oh goodness. Okay.
Jesus.
Go in a completely dark room, stand in front of a mirror, and spin around 3 times while saying Bloody Mary. Didn't work though.
Oh,
sad.
7th Sea++.
Oh.
Is that just another edition? What is that?
Oh no, that's what it would be called.
Oh, for the cyberpunk. I gotcha.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, the programming language.
I get you. That's.
I don't think they're using that anymore.
Or just 7th C sharp.
Dude,
7th C sharp.
Are you kidding me? An 80s themed like cyberpunk campaign, like make it like fucking like Judge Dredd or like RoboCop
or like the retro space shit like an Alien.
Yes. Yep. I gotcha.
Okay, yeah, no, that would be pretty fucking sweet. Never mind.
7th C sharp. I'm still more for that. Anyway,
C-sharp.
I'm for neither of them.
Okay. Yeah, 7th C Python. Anyway,
7thsea.com.
7th See You in Hell.
Hey, there it is.
Treat madness similar to exhaustion, so that the madness onset happens in stages. Characters already experiencing a minor madness trait should therefore take on a medium one if they fail an additional save.
So, also, good idea, I think.
I don't understand why we're doing the madness thing from whatever it was instead of him just looking into Call of Cthulhu or Delta
Well, he's
Green,
just saying this is just how you would do it, and he's not really taking anything. Oh, that's right.
No, I know. I'm
the
just
panic
saying that
system,
like
right?
it's just interesting that he came up with all that on his own. It's like, oh man, you should have like a minor insanity thing, and then you take a medium one. It's like that's pretty much exactly what they did in Call of Cthulhu with like the temporary insanity, indefinite insanity, permanent insanity.
Yeah. No, I know.
So it's just a little bit funny.
It's different in the sense that these actually stack on each other instead of it being these are different
one
types.
Or the other.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But yeah, I think it was what was it? It was the space thing. I don't remember already.
Yeah, I don't remember what it was.
But
it was something I never heard of. It looked old.
Yeah.
When your players burn through inspiration, or perhaps even those hit dice, turn those burned resources into enemy inspiration or bonuses for some nasty monster lurking in the background.
So
Make
literally
obvious that
danger points from 7C.
Yeah, I was gonna say I held my tongue, but I was gonna say it's interesting that you brought that up.
Okay, so it's literally that. That's great.
Basically. Which sure. I mean, it's definitely a thing you could do if you don't use inspiration, use the hit die instead, right? It just it's one of those things where if you don't have that being used that much, is it really going to come into play, you know?
And I think the problem that I would see is this would be kind of hard to explain in a in-game perspective. It'd be easy to just tell your players, like, oh, if you spend a hit die, I will be getting bonuses whenever I want to apply them.
It would be a purely meta thing, really. Unless
you would need to have it be where the monsters are like somehow absorbing your insanity.
Well, this is a totally different, like, the insanity thing is a different point. This is just if you do this bit, right? This is its own thing. So, like, yeah, it's basically, I would say you would have to come up with, like, oh, yeah, you're in this area, and in this area, you feel like whenever you spend your hit die or your inspiration, you can feel that energy going somewhere. Yeah. Like, it's with purpose, right? Like, it's one of those things where you have to really drill it into their head that it is a bad idea, maybe, to use this stuff, right?
Yeah. It's a bad idea to let it go through, but it's also a bad idea to do this.
Yeah.
Which one is worse?
Right, exactly.
Who the fuck knows?
Right. Again, risk versus reward, which is a great idea. But again, if you don't see, like, this is your mileage may vary if you don't see your party really using a lot of hit die / inspiration stuff, right? Which then, if they don't use the inspiration and they're just kind of hoarding it, then you're going to put in a thing of like, okay, if you don't use it this session, you got to use it. Like, it'll be gone.
I mean, that's always been inspiration, I think.
Probably. Yeah.
I think so. I don't remember.
You're probably right.
It's because we never use it.
Yeah, exactly.
Unless it's in Baldur's Gate, then we use it.
Yeah, I mean, yes. Because
it'd be a cool thing to do to... Oh, sorry, go on.
Oh, no, I was just going off the Baldur's Gate thing. Go on.
It'd be a cool thing to do if you're doing a one-shot, and then tell your players, for this one-shot, you can have as much inspiration as you want. I don't recommend you take me up on this offer.
Yes.
But you can have as much inspiration as you want. And then start, like, taking notes of how many times they use inspiration. And for, like, every use, make it go up a hit die or two.
Right, yeah, something. Yeah, exactly. It becomes this. You really okay?
Okay. You want that? Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah,
it's risk versus reward, literally.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, it's like that'd be cool to do in like a Fey realm sort of thing.
Ooh, yeah.
Where like or a hag who sends them in and goes like, you I don't know, fucking complete this trial or whatever in the fit or whatever.
Sure.
Have it be where they can have like Pokemon official at the beginning of a gym who gives you a few tips and be like, hey, things have a habit of going right until they go dude, have it be like a rhyme or a riddle, be like, for those who are luckiest, the worst luck befalls. And then the one who bets little has best luck of all, or something.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, for sure.
and be like, "Hey, dude, have as much inspiration as you like. You can never fail a check this entire one shot. I don't care.
Yeah, no, go for it. Exactly.
Go, yeah.
Go
You'll fight a boss with like 200 extra hit points of damage, or like, oh god, do damage instead of health.
Yeah, something
Jesus.
Like it could quickly turn into an entire TPK. But it's like one of those things like, well, I put the signs there and I've been writing down something back here every time you've been using your inspiration. So really, I've given you all the clues.
Like what you do as a DM sitting behind your screen is you keep track of how many times they use inspiration with like hash marks.
Yeah, exactly.
And whenever they say they're gonna use inspiration, wait for the table to settle and go, so you use inspiration? Really? Okay. And then you very loudly strike one mark.
Yeah, go even further and put like a chalkboard or a whiteboard behind you. And every time you like, you silently get up. You silently get up and you just put a mark, and then you sit back down, and then they go. The first time they go, wait, what?
If it's a checkboard, what you do is you hand like a dry erase board or something. You hand them the dry erase board and the marker, and you say, write the next line.
Yes.
Like,
make them do it.
Mark.
Yes.
Yeah, make them do it so that when you pull up the chart at the end of the one shot, and you're like, you motherfuckers did this.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, that's much better. You're 100% right. I even have a mini whiteboard that I could use for that. Oh. That sounds great.
Brother.
Yeah.
Nice.
That sounds
this
fucking
sounds
awesome.
So fucking cool.
Yeah, that's actually great. Anyway. So this video has put stuff from other games on D&D. I mean, that's everything if you want to make it, different. But to be fair, he's only taken the one thing specifically. The rest is just nothing's original, right? Like we can point to anything and go, "Oh, that could be from this," right? It's just but it's not a bad idea, right? It doesn't make it bad. It is just a derivation, and that on its own doesn't make it a bad idea.
By the way, Boo.
Yep.
Something just came to mind. If they wouldn't use C++ in a cyberpunk universe, would you accept C+ squared?
Sure. Sure.
So dumb. There needs to be more Fey horror. I agree.
Yes, there needs to be more Feywild entirely.
Yeah, in general for D&D, for sure.
Yeah.
It
kind of always struck me as a very dull place because it's like, oh, give me anything you want.
Yeah.
And we're not going to ever bother giving you any guide.
Yeah.
So like, you don't even know if what you're making is even Fey. But like, fuck it, who knows?
I feel like one of the.
It makes me feel really disinclined to even bother trying to put it together because like.
Yes. Yep.
There's so little on it, and what little there is so poorly written.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I agree.
The way I always saw the Feywild recently, or not always saw recently, the way I have seen the Feywild recently is, you remember the Shivering Isles from Oblivion?
Yes.
Mania and Dementia.
Yes.
Where you've got, the like light side, the colorful, the bright, the whimsical, typical like fairy tale stuff. Yeah. And then the other side, you've got like dark, gloomy, brooding, like Brothers Grimm fantasy. With like fucking scary Disney forests and shit, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I wish there was more of that.
Well, it's the whole Seelie and Unseelie court, right? Like those, those things, right?
Or
actually
look at Phelan versus Feyrin.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly Remnant. What I was going to say. It was going to be fucking look at Remnant with
Remnant. Sorry,
the what was it? The Beatific Palace and the other Malefic Palace.
Yes.
Exactly.
I
mean,
sense.
Dude, in one place you have an ideal world of pristine white walls with golden trim, and in the other you have London.
Yeah. You have like 18. What was it? When was the time of Jack the Ripper? Like 1860?
Yeah, somewhere. It was 19th century
you're
for sure.
Fan of Ragnarok.
It was 19th century for sure. I think it was. Yeah. I think you're right. Somewhere in the 60s.
But yeah, it's like the 1860s London.
Yes. Yeah.
It's not good.
Not good. Fucking sucks.
Yeah.
I actually, one of my ideas for a Delta Green Project Assateam thing is actually Fae related.
Oh, nice.
Which that would be a bigger thing that I would probably run for you guys before anybody else. Because it would be a whole campaign.
Is it based? Does it have anything to do with the fairies that we found in Shadows over Loathing with the creepy voices and shit?
No.
Oh, I'm so surprised actually, because I know you loved.
I did. It was
good.
Out of
those guys.
They were good. They were really good.
Yeah.
But no, it's actually like other stuff.
Oh, okay.
So, like actual fairy stuff.
Nice. I like it.
Yeah. But that's a whole other thing. Yeah. That's a way future thing. Yeah. It's not bad, but my snark is still high from the Death Note video. Oh, fair enough, Timothy. No worries.
Mm-hmm.
My suggestion for those wanting Fae horror examples is check out the anime Ancient Magus Bride. Check out the pretty river horse that eats flesh.
Ooh.
Yeah.
The Kelpie?
I guess.
I think that's a Kelpie.
Probably. I'll still make the Sealy Court scary in its own way. Oh, you should.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
The thing. Fairies should be like weird in both sides. It doesn't. One is not like Sealy and Unsealy are the terms, but neither are like good or bad specifically. Right? Like one's just a little weirder than the other.
I actually, despite the fact that I don't ever want to run to Feywild in my campaign, I do have thoughts like about the Sealy and Unsealy Court.
Sure.
And I want social encounters in the Sealy Court. It's the virtuous seeming one.
Yeah.
Where it feels like you're on this person's good side, but you're always kind of treading water and you're on eggshells around them because like they will find some way to make your life hell.
There it is.
And with the Unsealy Court, they will be civilized and stuff when you go in there, and they should seem like a grumpy person who fucking hates the world,
right?
But is maybe taking a shine to you and is willing to throw you a couple favors.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I like that opposite of each other.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Both are equally as insidious, just each are in their own opposite ways.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. That's cool though. The Kelpie.
Yeah, that's a Kelpie.
As for urban British horror, my favorite book is called Un-London, which is a world where all lost things go. I don't think the book...
London.
Oh, London. Yeah,
like undone.
Yes.
Undone.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't think the book got released. I only got an early copy because of a teacher fair. Oh, cool. But I've heard of Un-London, like Un-London itself in something else. I don't remember what it was, but it was really cool.
Fuck. My absolute favorite thing is that you said like not like Undone like London, but like
Undone.
But the Undone.
Yes.
But like this second O is still an O in both words.
Oh no, I know. It was just a different inflection.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, I know, and that's why like it works better than like any other word. Trust me, I've tried thinking of one. But like the inflection does make it the superior choice. But like, grammatically, I just loved it.
Oh yeah, no, it's good.
I seriously need the Crooked Umbrella Man to be played by David Tennant. I know the Crooked Umbrella Man. Oh god, I might have actually known about this before. Oh, we need to talk at some point. You need to tell me where to find this thing. Send me a link or something. Because I swear to god, I've read stuff. And it was super cool, and I can't remember where. Anyway. let's continue. What were we talking about?
These tokens for that purpose as well. Clearly telegraph what you are doing. This will push players to weigh the pros and cons of hand-waving away those failed madness saves. Do they take a madness effect now and hold on to their hit dice or inspiration, or do they spend it now and knowingly give their final enemy more ammunition to beat them with later?
Yeah, so basically what we're talking about.
I was imagining the complete opposite of that.
Oh?
So tell them at the beginning of the one shot, you can have inspiration anytime you want. I don't recommend you take me up on that. And that be the last that you objectively say. Like that.
Oh, yeah.
Any other questions from then on that people ask about it, you just don't even acknowledge that you even heard the question.
Well, I mean, at least just go like, oh yeah, okay.
Like, dude, I don't know.
Yeah, no,
that's my favorite thing to say to a player is,
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those things where if you're gonna do a whole campaign that way, like you at least want to acknowledge if it's been a while or something, maybe like, oh, you know, you're spending your thing to do this, and you go, okay, you know, like give them something, right, so that they remember. Oh wait, but
I've just been imagining it with like a disapproving frown and like sort of like nodding your head, like okay,
right. Yeah, just something to keep them knowing that's. It's not a good idea.
That's what I would imagine would be achieved by having them pass around the whiteboard every time.
That for sure. Yes. In that case, if you're in physical, in a physical space.
Yeah.
I really hope that he has some sort of play on words for the monstrous encounters, because it's monstrous, not monstrous.
Oh yeah, true. I don't know. We'll see. I don't actually remember. Sealy Faye, nice to meet you. Can I have your name? Yeah, exactly.
No.
Always good. Oh wait, the book did come out. It even came out in 2007. Mine was just a pre-final edit copy for some reason. Weird.
Oh,
okay.
So you have all the grammatical errors in yours then.
Hell yeah. Okay, well then I'll look for it, because I actually do want to read that now. Like, really badly. Actually, you've unlocked something in me.
The monster encounters in your horror adventure should be way more deadly than a typical boss fight. The monsters should be powerful enough to dispatch a character in no more than 2 rounds of combat. Of course, it's terribly unfair to throw monsters that strong at the party with no clear warning of the danger. Be sure to telegraph the monster's power to the players early and often. Much the same way the Alien movie shows the xenomorph's acid eating through the floor decking and creepy shadows shifting in the hallway, make it abundantly clear that the monster your players are facing is extremely dangerous. Describing eviscerated.
Oh yeah, dude. It's been
far too long since I've seen it.
I have it
That's like my favorite movie.
It's really good. I have it on 4K, and I have the extended version that has the scene where she finds them turned into like the wall grossness and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just included and shit. It's so good.
You know what that actually was? They were turning into eggs.
Yes. That was before the Queen was ever an idea.
Yeah. That's the scene where the Marine's like, "Kill me!"
Yeah,
kill me! Yeah, I thought that was in the original.
No, that's not theatrical.
Fuck. Okay.
Yeah, good that you saw it as its own thing, and that's what's in your memory.
Dude, the first place I saw it was, I think, on TV.
It was probably a showing of the actual director's cut.
Yeah.
Because that's director's cut. As far as I'm aware, I could be wrong about that, but that's whenever I choose director's cut, that's it. And with that not being in the theatrical cut, that sucks for them.
I should go about legally acquiring this.
You should. I made sure to do so just because I really, really like that movie. It's great. Anyway.
corpses and fleshy pulp smeared against the wall is great for telegraphing a grindhouse style of danger, while for a psychological horror tone, the players might need to loop back to this same room some 20 minutes later, only to find out it is now in a pristinely clean state. However you telegraph the danger, be sure to also indicate what tools and information the players need to defeat the monster as well. Of course, these tools will only help the players overcome the monster's threat, but not necessarily the environment they fight it in. In the final showdown with this terrible monster, once the players have leveled the playing field by gathering the right tools and know-how, alter the environment so that the environment itself proves to be the most dangerous aspect of the encounter. A collapsing mineshaft, a sinking sailing ship, or a flooding dungeon are all good examples of environments which must be dealt with while fighting off a terrible monster.
I think that's just a good thing to do in general, is just have your environments matter. At least somewhat, right?
Yeah.
They don't have to be necessarily the thing, but, you know.
I think I talked about in the I know I've talked about it on the podcast, the 3 raft battle versus the giant alligator fight that I had in my campaign, where they were on a river that was flowing, and the people in the hindmost raft had to figure out how to destroy water of the river to create a wave to push them forward.
Now, what I do want to ask is, do you guys agree with the sentiment of, if you have your big scary horror monster that is part of this encounter, that it should be able to dispatch a player in 2 turns, no more?
It depends on how much health the monster has, I would say.
Okay.
Because if you've got a thing that can kill a player in 2 turns...
it should be a glass cannon.
It might need to be a glass cannon. Because it doesn't... Because since it's a TTRPG, things go significantly slower. So it doesn't need to be like in a movie where, you've got the build up and the build up and the build up, and then you have 30 minutes of chasing or however long, and then a 10-minute fight.
Right.
You can just have it be build up, and then a quick climactic fight with it. And then you have that winding down.
Right.
So it depends.
Okay. Aiden, do you have...
I don't know, because I'm trying to think of a fight against essentially a brawler, where it feels better to have the brawler do less damage.
Yeah.
Kind of like a Jason, except he's not quite so deadly.
Right.
I guess, but
because in that scenario, he's just unkillable.
Right, yeah, Jason.
And he can hurt you, but he's not gonna outright kill you unless he gets a crit max damage or something.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
sorry, I was limiting myself to thinking of horror for blood style, where the monsters are these big nightmarish monstrosities, but they're
unless you're playing as Nick Cage.
Yeah, but you could do a Jason or even a Freddy.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah,
Freddy.
you could do Freddy as well.
I agree with both of you on that. I'll be the fence sitter here. I agree with both of your points, because it really does, I think, overall depend, like you said, Boo. Depends on what you're going for, because if you want it to be that big climactic finish where it's it's super deadly, then fucking let's go. You better kill him quick, right? You have all the stuff you need, because in the scenario that he's talking about, you're getting stuff to kill the final thing, right? And I assume you're making it so that they will hopefully get all the stuff. And if they didn't have all the stuff, then it would be a harder time for them. Not impossible, but harder, right?
Yeah.
The other thing that you have to worry about, though, is dice. Because it might crit. You might roll fire, right? You might roll fire as the DM, as the monster, and just fucking outright kill them all in 1 turn. It could happen. So it's one of those things.
if you have the like really powerful one, I would say make it so that it can be really powerful, but only against one person at a time.
Yes, that's also true.
That way you kind of prevent that potential like instant TPK, because that would suck.
Yeah. I guess my original thought, but the way that I said it made it imply that my original thought was that it would kill one person in one turn. In one turn. But you're right. I think it's important to make it so that it doesn't necessarily kill everybody in one turn because of a dice roll.
It depends on what it can do, though, because if it can, then it can.
It's one of those things, right, where you have to really balance out the feel of whatever it is you're going for, right? If you want it to be super deadly to the point of a TPK is expected, then go for it, right? Like they've got to figure it out.
I sure hope that this is kind of like a puzzle boss fight.
Exactly, right? Like that's it. It's one of those things. Is like, I don't know, you like the whole we talk about Freddy having to figure out, I gotta go into the dream and then I can take him out of the dream and then I can get him from there, right? All that kind of stuff. It's the puzzle that actually because he could just kill you, like because he's Freddy. He can do whatever the fuck he wants.
But since he's invincible in the dream, he doesn't let his guard down, but he plays with his food. Yes. So that gives them the time to figure it out and do it.
Exactly, right?
By the way, so I've never seen any of the Freddy movies.
Friday the 13th.
But it's short.
Yeah, Freddy 1, Freddy's Revenge.
Shut up.
Sorry, anyway, go on.
Are they actually like good?
Some of them, like the early ones, and one of the more recent ones, are pretty good.
So I've seen most of them. I would say the first one is pretty good. There's some good stuff with which one is it? The one that's like an allegory for being gay. That one's actually
the second one.
That's the second one? Is that the second one?
Yeah, that's the second one. Yeah, that one's very good.
That one is very good.
And then the one that came out more recently, it was the first reboot. I want to say it came out like 2009, where they like redid. It wasn't the original actor playing Fredly.
No, I know.
Freddy.
Fredly.
I love him. Fredly.
It wasn't Scary Terry.
No, it wasn't. You're right.
It was like,
no, I know who you're talking about.
Jackie Earle Haley.
I only heard bad things about that.
So, let me see. Yeah, Jackie Earle Haley. He played it.
Yeah. He was what's his face from Watchmen? Fuck.
I know who you're talking about.
Rorschach, yes.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So he basically what they did was they had Scary Freddy in the first two movies, and then they had Funny Freddy for all the rest of them. Yeah, and then when they did the reboot, they went back to Scary Freddy.
Right.
And so people were like, "Oh man, we don't like Scary Freddy. We wanted him to be like wisecracking Freddy."
That wasn't the criticism. That was
part
of it. Well, at least that's not the criticism that I paid attention to, because I don't care about Silly Freddy. Silly Freddy's fine in doses, right? Like when he's still Scary Freddy, but silly, right? Mm-hmm. But I just remember hearing that it just wasn't very good, just in general. Which I don't know. I haven't seen it myself, so I don't know. But
I heard that it was good for a Scary Freddy movie.
Okay, I'd have to see it to really have an opinion. But so. If that helps, Aiden.
Okay.
We should get together and just watch some weird stuff.
I watched some.
Yeah.
It's been a while since we've done a
movie.
That too. A move. Yes, a move, and also I kind of want to get you guys to watch the fucking Friday the 13th. No, Nightmare on Elm Street is what those ones are. That's right. But.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Friday the 13th is the one that I would like to subject you guys to as like...
Dude, no, Friday the 13th is good.
What I mean is all of them.
I have never watched either series.
I know, and I told you all about all of Friday the 13th.
You did. Yeah, you did.
Because I watched all of them in a row.
Did you see the one Escape from Manhattan where they basically never go to Manhattan?
Yeah, not until like the very end.
Yeah.
I was regretting my my decision to ask you about the series by like entry 4.
Yeah.
Dude, it's a ride, okay? Let me tell you.
How many entries are there?
So there are 10 from the originals. There's also the Freddy versus Jason if you want to count those.
No, I remember you told me about those.
Yeah, 1 and 2. I think there's 2. I'm pretty sure. And
I still remember Jason Goes to New York.
Yep.
Jason Takes Manhattan. That's right.
Jason Goes to Hell.
And yes, but then there was the reboot, which is actually like decent. Like it's not that bad actually. And I think that's it.
Yeah,
so
I believe so.
So that's what, 14 movies, I think?
Yeah. Something like that.
Something like that.
14 fiscal 13 hours of Jetty and Frayson.
Jetty and Frayson. That's right. Yeah, no.
I remember sitting there in Alex's room and looking to him for help, and he's just hunched over his laptop, and I'm like, "You're not fucking help."
Yeah. You don't understand. I just had to keep going. It was just so much.
I remember looking at my watch like 5 times.
I'll be honest. I did not notice whatsoever what you were doing.
Are you really?
Yes, I was fucking.
At the moment, I was like, he's got to know. I am like snuggling into bed, like hugging my pillow, closing my eyes, opening them to look at my watch.
I had a vague awareness of what you were doing, but just in the sense that I knew you were moving and doing things. Okay? Legitimately, I could not focus on anything else but telling you all about those fucking movies, okay?
In fairness to you, I think the lights were off in the room. It might have been like easy to not notice in the first place.
It might have been that too, but like legitimately, if there was any visible like discernment that I could have had, I did not.
any discernment for my visible distress.
Very bad with that. Had no idea. Just needed to tell you. Needed to tell someone, and you were there.
And you know what? In the moment too, I knew that's what it was. I was like,
good.
I guarantee you, he has been waiting like 5 years for someone to ask him about it.
It felt like that.
He needs this moment. I'm not gonna be a bad friend.
I appreciate that.
And then you started telling me about movie 6.
I appreciate that, and I appreciate you indulging my absolute insanity. Absolute fucking fixation I had.
You must fucking love those movies.
No!
Oh my god. Okay, so there's Star Wars.
No, Christ. I watched them all because I wanted to, and I couldn't stop.
You need to understand, this was like watching 14 episodes straight of Mauler. Like, except make each episode like 10 minutes.
What a fucking nightmare.
It's funny.
I said, hey, you know what? You know a lot about the Friday the 14th movies.
13th?
Sure.
Saturday the 14th.
Movies.
That's right.
Yeah. Thursday the 20th movie.
Yeah.
What did you tell me about those?
Yeah.
And Alejo was like, are you sure? And like, I can go into detail. And I said, I could hear the trepidation in his voice. I'm like, are you sure? And I was like, yeah, I'll be a good friend. Yeah, in as much detail as you'd like, Alejo. And then I heard his tone visibly pick up, and I was like,
oh, no.
I'm a good friend. And then I went, by 2, I was like, I'm a pretty good friend. By 3, I was like, how many more episodes? Oh, okay.
there's something wrong with me.
Is the Fog.
I think there's something wrong with my brain.
Honestly, though, my biggest thought during the whole conversation was just wishing that the door wasn't closed so that, like, River would hop into bed with me and at least I'd have, like, a cat snuggled up to me.
Right. Yes, that's fair. Oh, that's so funny. I'm so sorry.
No, it's fine. You needed it, and I'm happy to have been that person for you.
It just happens, man. I just get things in my head that I can't get out, and I need to get out. There's a I think I do actually have a problem.
So then what you're saying is that your mind goblins actually went on a literal walk.
Yes. Yeah, no, it happens. It does happen. It hasn't happened for a while, thankfully, but, like, it does happen.
They were sated with that one.
They were, that time.
For a time.
Oh, God.
Until Star Wars.
Yeah. And then when Godzilla came out, Godzilla King of the Monsters, that also set me off at one point. That was a whole thing that the person that I was dating at the time got the brunt of that. And that was interesting. Anyway, there's something wrong with my brain. I'm sure I need to talk to somebody who knows brains.
So I fucking hate movies.
No, it's not even just that. It's just like the being unable to not say something if I have something in my head sometimes.
Oh,
like it gets to the point where I act like I have to. It's a thing. Anyway, a lot of things came in. Dude, I want to steal the fact that the thing is spoiled by a language barrier for a D&D thing. Just have a crazy NPC warn the party in a language they don't speak. Ooh, yeah.
That'd be pretty interesting. Yeah,
that's true. That is true. That would be good.
It's like you have the person come up and say, whatever they're gonna say.
Yeah.
And maybe the players are able to like write it down, and we're like, we don't actually know what language this is. Let's go to the city.
Sure.
And they go to the city, they find someone who can translate it, and it's like something that's like, don't touch my body. After they searched him or something like that.
Oh, yeah. Something.
Or like, don't touch my body, it'll spread. Like,
yeah.
Oh, and then they've probably been touching each other, potentially, or other enemies.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, just something that seemed innocuous at the time, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I had meant to get around to some Fae stuff in my world building project, but it seems like it will be a ways off at this point, considering how long Shadengard has taken. Yeah, well, what would a slasher movie look like in D&D?
That's a good question. I have no idea.
I would treat it like a mystery, like you would have to do some sort of mystery, and like every now and then another body would come in, because you wouldn't be able to unless you really want to. Well, you could have the thing, the killer, whatever it is, come in and like do some damage to them and then escape somehow, right? You would just have to figure out a way for it to not escape, like in a contrived way, because like I mean, it can be contrived. It's not necessarily a bad thing. It just, if it keeps happening in the same way, it could become old and all that kind of stuff, right? Because that's usually what a slasher movie has. Or it can have the build up for sure, I guess. Like Predator, right?
Yeah.
You have all the stuff that's happening. Actually, Predator is a great example, because you have all the action stuff happening in the beginning, and then after that is when the actual slasher movie happens, right?
Yeah. And then you could also do it like Alien, where you have something else that's going on, and then a monster comes in and tries to fuck with them somehow.
Yeah.
You could kind of do it like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Just play Among Us.
Yeah.
I mean, hilariously...
It's the thing, so yeah.
And the thing that would be really cool with that is you could do it as a space game, you could do it as a fantasy game, you could really set the like Among Us style of like setting and one shot or campaign really easily in a lot of different places.
Yeah. Never discount the dread of the slow, unstoppable creature. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Very true. Very true. Just have a shambling mound that just keeps growing as it comes closer and closer and closer. Yeah.
That's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking, my brain went to It Follows, but that's a good one.
Also, yeah, for sure.
Maybe we should finish the video.
No, there's more things to read.
Okay.
You've got to find the right balance with lethality. Letting the PCs be too hard to kill might make it unscary, but if their death becomes too certain, it's easy to get detached from them. Yeah, that's true. It's just, it's either gonna work out or it's not a lot of the time. I don't know. Why does this keep moving? Anyway. Freddy versus Jason and the Argonauts. Yeah, that'll work.
Yo!
Let's see. Madness is a slow and insidious killer called Jason. Yes. I'm glad Aiden was willing to spend the limited time his leukemia has left him with listening to you talk about those movies, Alejo. I know, he really was a true friend.
Mm-hmm. He was.
God damn it.
What a shame.
What a shame. It's really what it gave.
I feel like I can still hear his voice every now and then.
Yeah, I know, right? Quotes. One of you is a shapeshifter. Being the thing that's said. That would be fucked. Once they figure it out, it's like, oh god.
Yeah, one of you is a doppelganger, except you're like an aberrant doppelganger or something.
Yeah. Anyway.
Alternatively, you might just want to play a Diablo-style game where you hack and slash your way through tons of demons while collecting lots of cool treasure. If so, check out my adventure design and treasure generation supplement, Hordes of Darkness on DriveThruRPG at the link
Ryan
in the
Lewis
description.
Baron
If you'd like to help me make
So
more
his
content
name actually is Baron.
I guess so.
That's his last name. That's fucking awesome.
That's cool.
Like this in the future, please consider supporting me on Patreon or becoming a channel member. Thanks for watching, Dungeon Masters, and until next time, good night.
So there you go.
I'm sorry, the smile at the end. It just looks like the smiling emoji. That got me. It just looks like, it looks very like, okay, here, so let's go back. Wait a minute.
You sure?
Thanks for watching, Dungeon Masters, and until next time, good night.
I don't know what it is. It just looks so like, it just looks so robotic. It's not forced.
I understand.
It's
rehearsed.
Smile.
It's rehearsed.
Yes, it is like it's a perfected smile.
Yes.
This is the channel ender smile.
Yes, it is.
That I do.
100%.
Or a video ender smile.
Right.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh my god, I heard him again. It's crazy.
Oh my god. Yeah. So let me then just make sure that it's well known. Good video.
Yes.
We've covered a lot of not good ones, but good video.
Yeah, this one was good.
Oh, I couldn't remember. Like, oh wait, no, didn't that one person? Was it Steely said? That one guy again.
No, that was Timothy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
My apologies, Steely and Timothy both.
Yeah. It's not bad. So.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's not that hard to come up with good ideas for horror stuff. It really isn't.
It's essentially take D&D, which is a solid framework, and then bring in better shit and change shit in D&D.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
mean, that's kind of how.
It's just I'm not gonna deny it.
I'm just going to tug my shirt collar and go, yeah.
No, that's fine.
Yeah, so knowing my tabaxi Galvin, he would be the one in the slasher that gets killed having sex. Nice. Yeah. So that video actually took a lot longer than I thought it would. But that's usually how this goes. Regardless, I think that it would probably be better to get to comments and then end it off from there, because we have a few backed up and there's some long ones in there.
Yeah. And honestly, I was going to say that before you even said that, I was going to say that after that video, I was going to be done because I'm starting to fade. So
That's
I'm
fair.
going to go ahead and I'm going to drop out
now. Absolutely. I was going to give both of you the chance, for sure.
Ooh. All right. Well, then
I might take you up on that. Honestly.
Yeah. Go for it.
We'll abandon you for the boring, painful, like super long, very very slow Friday the 13th dissertation. I mean comments.
Hey.
So good night, everybody. We've got a session coming up actually.
Yes,
that'll get uploaded.
It will be uploaded hopefully tomorrow. I'm gonna get it all set up tonight, hopefully, and then get it up tomorrow.
Spoilers: they do some more fighting.
Oh my god!
And nothing else happens. Okay,
nothing else.
You guys have fun with comments, and I'll talk to you later.
All right, see you.
Yep, see ya.
I wish I had something cool to tail off with, but apparently not.
Okay.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Good night. All right. Well, oh no. It's just you and me now. Let's see. To my players, one of us tonight is an imposter. It's me, the DM. Yes. Yay, my lore. Yes. They are gone, and now I will go over to here. We'll get to comments, everybody. Comment time. Comment. Don't forget, the new logo is actually available on TeePublic if you want it. Go for it. I'll chill that out once more because it's new, and I probably will forget to do it again. Okay. So, we have some comments. Let me go all the way back to 154, because that is where I did not read from. I have my water, everything's good, let's read, hey? So, this is from Timothy on episode 154, our chatting and comment section. Ironic that I'm having to catch up on the comments that are on that. Hey. So, hello, bros. This was a great hangout episode. Thank you. Okay, got some lore. Let's see how this goes. 3 travelers and 1 pack pony walk down a cobblestone road, one quickly writing down things in a notebook, another fixing his lucha mask on his face, and the third trying not to get his tail stepped on by the pony. The group stops in front of a high-end tavern. The building clad in black onyx and encrusted jade and emeralds, some the size of a knight's shield. Above the heavy dark oak doors lay the name The Dracolich Dungeon, made in flaming letters, glowing a deep green, burning endlessly with the help of magic. This looks expensive, grumbled Leroy. It'll be fine, said Galvin. Look there. Wait. Oh yeah. Look there, pointing at a smaller sign to the side, which says, Magic users drinks half off on Mondays. So, just an arm instead of both an arm and a leg, said Leroy. Come on, don't be a stick in the mud, said Galvin, pushing Leroy forward, looking back as he pushed at Star Ruby. You coming, big guy? The Tabaxi said with a smile. Upon entering the tavern, showed a 20-foot tall ceiling, a large fireplace with more green fire inside. A stage for entertainment of all sorts with a banner above the stage saying Bobo the Gnome and the Sunflower Pep Band. The 3 take a seat at the shiny blacktop bar where a dragonborn bartender walks over to them. May I help you, he said, in a smooth, deep tone. Yeah, how much will this kill my coin sack? Just by sitting here, said Leroy, his voice shaking. The Dragonborn raised an eyebrow in response. Let's have one spiced rum for me, and you guys want what? Said Galvin, looking at the other two. Star Ruby, I'll have what the tabaxi said. Leroy, red wine then, and the red wine is half. He does magic. Oh, I see. And the red wine is half. He does magic, giggled Galvin. Your last name, said the Dragonborn. At that statement, the magic user started to sweat in his mind. He thought, I forgot to tell that stupid feline I'm not certified by the damn IMO. My name will my name even show up under the alabaster name? His eyes darting back and forth between the Dragonborn and the front door. After taking a deep breath, he let out the word alabaster to the bartender. The Dragonborn's eyes twitched after hearing it, and he said 1 moment as he pulled a big book from under the bar. Slamming it down hard, what felt like hours to Leroy was only a few minutes. Ah, here it is, said the Dragonborn with a grin on his face, Leroy's heart pounding in his chest. The bartender seemed to see the look on Leroy's face. He decided to drag things along as much as possible, just for kicks. He then started to read the whole Alabaster family tree. The first of the line upon his certification, Targasius Alabaster. A few gens later, the twins, Cyrus and Veronica, and then locking eyes with the shaking magic user and slowly reading. And the little brother, Leroy. Quickly turning the book and pointing a clawed finger at a drawing of a 5-year-old Leroy. That's you, right? Rolling eyes. Yes, croaked Leroy. Closing the book fast and putting it back onto the bar. That'll be 10 gold for the drinks. Let me go and get them, as the Dragonborn walked down the bar. Leroy letting out a sharp ugh. Slamming his fist on the bar, and then he started looking into his coin bag for the gold. Trying to lighten the mood a bit, at least in his mind. You were a cute kid, said Gavin, slapping him on the back, looking at the tabaxi with fire in his eyes and saying, sure, let's go with that, grumbled Leroy. Well, that's what I got right now. More to come soon. Have a nice day. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. It's a neat little story of Leroy, Star Ruby, and Galvin. Guess this makes it a Denny's night. Well, fair enough. So, now we have Lux. With only 2 comments on this one. First one saying, just going to continue the lore now. I got a bit zapped for energy near the end of this round, and this is just going to be a setup chapter. I felt like it will be a bit boring compared to the last part, but as this is a world-building project first and a story second, this is all stuff that will need to be established, so here it is. Looks like a 2-parter this time. Let me actually take a drink of water. Oh. Excuse me. The history of Shadengard's northern steppes is less understood than that of the Dawnlands, as the tribal societies existing here did not keep written records of their activities, and the Dragatones were always reticent to report their dealings with them. By southern reckoning, there existed 2 general regions in the north, the northern scrublands and the Demon Moor. The line between the two was always a fuzzy concept, defined more by cultural than geographical boundaries, and generally only estimated by contemporary map makers. Maybe it's just a Denny's parking lot night? Oh. The Scrublands were a vast expanse of mostly flat land separated from the Dawnlands by 2 high mountain ranges in the east and west, with the Dragato Gap providing the primary land route between them. The oldest surviving myths indicate that the Daruna and Afkarlin ranges were originally a single mountainous wall raised to the top of the sky by the children of Shadanis to keep the invading Felkarai at bay. But the center of this line was toppled by Silvara with Rathmont's power, while the 2 surviving ranges crumbled to their later forms with time. This is difficult to confirm, though there is little reason to think it impossible, and there is evidence of intense seismic activity in that area matching the likely time with which when such an event would have occurred. My brain. That thing with the bartender popped in my head. I just had to write it down. Oh yeah, fair enough. Despite the name, which is born more from the southern imagination than the reality of the north, the scrublands actually featured a fairly diverse range of biomes, including grasslands, marshes, desert, and a reasonable showing of actual scrubland. Much like the contemporary southern kingdoms with respect to the Dawnlands, the scrublanders had no specific name for that region as a whole, nor any collective identity, but by their own reckoning beyond their individual tribes. While the scrubland tribes were widely considered dangerous and barbaric, the Southerners did not view them as entirely alien, but more as a primitive culture existing on the periphery of civilization. There is a wide range of literature produced by Dawn-era writers describing the customs and habits of scrublanders, suggesting that Southern society did not disregard their existence, nor write them off as mere enemies, but saw them rather as a subject of some interest. Furthermore, it would be foolish to think the scrublanders never individually migrated south to settle in one of the southern states, and records do exist indicating that this took place. Those doing so were likely regarded with some amount of suspicion, or at least regarded as exotic. But most communities would have found that the need for manpower outweighed any feelings of insular paranoia. Unfortunately, actual literary depictions of scrublands culture vary widely and in often contradictory ways, making it impossible to confidently derive any precise understanding of them from that evidence. Much of what is believed about these cultures is based on observations made long after Dragato had come to dominate this region, with the assumption being made that whatever customs were in place at the time must have reflected earlier practices to at least some extent. What is known is that these were nomadic tribes that survived primarily by herding, supplemented by hunting and foraging. The land was not well suited for growing crops, quickly losing fertility under cultivation, and even worse for protecting fields from raiders. As a result, permanent settlement was unheard of. Dragaton records indicate the occasional establishment of tent cities as seasonal centers of craft and commerce, where such governmental functions as existed were often carried out, and where the most elaborate religious ceremonies were performed. Excuse me. That new fancy tower that I made is my favorite. Nice. Good. These tribes were often at war with another, in large part because their populations often grew beyond what the land could support, and because shifting weather patterns would frequently leave a herd's grazing grounds barren. As a result, these wars were brutal and existential. Those who perished were not pitied, and any foe taken prisoner could expect nothing but a slow death of ritualistic torture and sacrifice, typically ending with their blood drained and poured out as an offering upon the ground. This fate was not limited to warriors, but extended to all members of the defeated tribe who did not manage to escape, generally leading even the traditional non-combatants to raise up arms in their own defense. Captive shamans had the worst of this, often being kept alive for years under slow exsanguination to keep the libations flowing in between wars, their blood being considered especially pure and holy. Dragato was entirely unconcerned with these rituals throughout the Dawn era, but as the Dragatoan power base shifted to the south, this developed into a source of friction. I feel like I'm reading a documentary. Like I'm the documentary guy in the documentary where you're seeing all this stuff going on. It's fun. I'm just bad at reading sometimes. Though the popular conception of the Scrublander is that of the mounted Scallan steppe archer, Kron, Salu, and Nostar existed here as well. Just as in the South, social roles were not determined explicitly by race, though each race did make a dominant showing in those roles, where they possessed the most natural advantages. Thus, warriors were typically Scallan, the shamans and lorekeepers were Salu, and the Kron performed most of the labor. However, unlike the South, this division of labor was not seen as hierarchical. Yes. Each role was recognized as critical to the survival of the tribe, and the three divisions were largely self-governed. The Nostars stood apart from this system. Within the tribes, they were inherently distrusted and never ranked as more than slaves, though some of them avoided the hardest manual labor by serving as battle thralls or consorts to tribal chieftains. Those Nostar who were free by birth or by flight lived mostly in small bands of their own. These bands lived in the most secluded places they could find, often fighting to the death over these locations. They rarely kept herds or held grazing grounds of their own, and would typically flee if a tribe came to take that land from them. As these conditions prevented them from producing much of their own, these Nostar bands survived mostly by trade and banditry, and by allying to the strongest tribes they could whenever possible. These alliances provided some degree of military protection, though this was unreliable at best, but mainly served to allow the Nostar to join the allied tribes in war, thus entitling them to a share of any plunder. The Nostar bands did not typically approach each other with proposals for alliance. However, for the other tribes, the Nostar bands did not typically approach each other with proposals for alliance. However, 4 of the other tribes were quite intolerant of this. Oh, okay, I see. For the other tribes were quite intolerant of this, and would even work together with their worst traditional enemies to prevent any joining Nostar force. If a single Nostar band grew too large, it would quickly divide or else come under attack by whichever tribe first took note of it as a growing threat, allied or not, and regardless of the band's true intentions. Small bands would often accept escaped slaves into their fold as long as they could, or as long as they could be of benefit. But those approaching the permissible limit on size were known to drive away or even kill any runaways that approached them. Those who did not seem useful or lacked sufficient survival skills were always killed, and this was regarded as a mercy. Oh. Political horror, I guess? Yeah. Oh, sorry. I say I'm bad at horror, and yet I've always got to get that element of horror in there. Political horror, I guess. Oh, no, you're good. Yeah, I get you. Dragato, pardon my spelling, seemed hardcore. Yeah. Dragato's ways of dealing with these tribes evolved over the course of the Dawn era. Before the founding of the kingdom, the Dragatos behaved much like any other northern tribe, though they considered themselves honor-bound to guard the way to Argondis from the north. So they held their place in the Dragato Gap staunchly. In those early days, their relations with the other northern tribes were purely adversarial. As the kingdom developed, the growing settlements there began to draw the eyes of northern raiders, and Dragato soon found that it needed to engage those tribes diplomatically or be constantly at war. The early approach to this was straightforward. The Dragatos' chosen allies grew quite powerful with their assistance. Unfortunately, once those allies became more powerful than the Dragato itself, they turned and attacked, and the kingdom was only saved from complete destruction by Valsyrian intervention. Dragatoan diplomacy became more cautious after this, but even without their growth being outright supported, Dragato's allies still eventually grew too powerful on their own, with similarly disastrous results. Thus, the ultimate direction of Dragato's northern policy at last became entirely duplicitous, with allies played against one another and aided only until their power reached too great a threshold, at which point would cause be found or fabricated to destroy them. By this method, Dragaton influence finally spread all across the North unit. I assume until? I don't know. Every Scrublands chieftain was brought to heel. Yeah, until. By this method, Dragaton influence finally spread all across the North until every Scrublands chieftain was brought to heel. Yeah, okay. That makes sense. Next. It would be fair to ask why the tribes would still ally with Dragato, even knowing that they would be betrayed. It should be understood that this is an area of speculation, but a number of reasons can be suggested. The most common theory, supported by the behavior of Dragato's earlier allies, was that these tribes held duplicitous intentions of their own, hoping to use Dragaton power to advance themselves, only to betray Dragato through some conspiracy of their own when it suited them. Another possibility is that they did not have much of an actual choice, for although the Dragatons would destroy their allies eventually, they would destroy their enemies immediately, so survival in the short term required aligning with Dragato. A third view is that many of these tribes simply avoided growing too much, in a similar manner to the No-Star bands, in order to avoid causing the Dragatons to identify them as a threat in the first place. Any combination of these possibilities could have been possible. Regardless, Dragato's diplomatic strategy still relied on the existence of external enemies to direct the brunt of their allies' aggression against. Once the Dawnlands were unified under Dragaton rule at the beginning of the Old Imperial era, the only enemies left were the tribes of the Demon Moor. The name of the Demon Moor has been known since at least the Ancient Era, when the children of Shadonnis still ruled Argondis. At the time, the name referred to an actual moorland in the far north where the barrier between realms was weak, allowing demons from the underworld to occasionally pass into Shadowgard. After the fall of Argondis, the region passed into the realm of legend in the Dawnlands for many centuries, where it came to be viewed as a fantastical land of dark horrors. Throughout the Dawn era, the precise location of the original Demon Moor was entirely unknown, merely perceived as some place deep within the northern lands. By the beginning of the Old Imperial era, Dragato had reimagined the concept of the Demon Moor to include all the tribal territories still ruled by the ancient demon lords at that time. This was much larger. This was a much larger area than the original concept, but it was also an area that could be represented on a map with some degree of confidence. While the Scrublanders it threw me off guard for some reason, may have had more familiarity with the tribes of that region, those tribes were entirely alien to the Southerners. Excuse me. Even Dragato had no real interaction with them other than warfare, as no envoys sent to that land had ever returned. Excuse me. The No-Star may have been treated somewhat more favorably in that region than anywhere else, as the Demon Lords obviously would not have been troubled by their Felkurai ancestry, and they seemed to fight with an especial fervor for those tribes. Archaeological explorations have also turned up a great number of artifacts thought to be ceremonial in nature, suggesting a prevalence of religion most likely centered on the worship of the tribe's demon lord. On those occasions, when the fall of a demon lord in battle was observed, chroniclers have reported a profound terror overtaking the demon lord's followers, who would flee immediately in all directions, their tribe dissolving completely after the news spread. Most survivors likely went to join other tribes, but those that reformed without their demon lord seem to have always immediately abandoned their previous customs and adopted a lifestyle more similar to the Scrublanders. Such tribes showed no desire to discuss their earlier cultures with outsiders, and the Dragatoans at that time did not care to hear about it, so that knowledge is now fully lost to time. With the stage of history in the Northern Lands now set, to the best of our ability, we will discuss the events that occurred here at the beginning of the Old Imperial Era shortly. There you go. Good stuff. Always a pleasure to read. Just like any comments. Yes, this was the one that was posted that I had in the beginning of last week's episode. Just looking into my progress. And if you want me to read that for you, it's in last week's episode. So you can see that right at the top, basically. Rico on Bolt Gun. Watching the cutscenes and gameplay reminds me of two things. One, I need to play Blasphemous 2, and two, fuck me, I'm excited for Space Marine 2. Fuck yeah, dude. Blasphemous 2, I've yet to finish Blasphemous 1, and I didn't even know there was a Blasphemous 2, so there you go. Thank you for telling me, because Blasphemous is pretty cool. And then in last week's episode, which was the talking about some opinions on the D&D VTT that's coming. Timothy says, "Hello, bros. Well, that video talking about the VTT was weird. How can someone say things will happen without any hard info on the topic? It's good to say your thoughts, but claiming something will happen like that does not seem fair to me. But I guess at the end of the day, gotta get those views. Am I right? Haha, ugh. Anyways, lore stuff now." Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, it took me a while to realize there was a Blasphemous 2, too. Yeah, fair enough. Blasphemous is super... I love the art in that. Like, it's... I love pixel art. Pixel art is super good. Oh. Okay, so... lore stuff. The Log of Alabaster, Entry 5, 30th of March. There I sat in honesty... honestly, the most fantastic-looking tavern I have ever seen, with the most expensive wine I had in my hand after getting put through the mind wringer by a bartender who took too much joy out of nearly giving me a heart attack. Upon reflection, it's my own fault for not staying in the magic loop for the last 10 years. Lucky for me, my info was still there without a license. Granted, it was not updated since I was 5. I guess that's where my family, being more well-known than me, comes in handy. I kinda wish Galvin did not talk about people he dated for hours as we were drinking, but overall, he's a fine enough person. I think and I guess I could get used to him being around, especially since he seems to like us a lot. He'll ask to join us at some point, I'm sure. Which would help in the long run, having an extra set of hands. Entry 6. Looking around the tavern, my eyes locked on a huge black dragon skeleton mounted above the center fireplace that looked just as angry as the day it died. As the hours rolled on, my mind wondered. I have not seen my 2 times great-grandfather in so long. Is he even still 3rd chair of the South at this point? After thinking for most of this trip, it's about time I get my license from the IMO, and he's the only person I would want to give me the test for it. Not sure if I would want to work at the IMO or be a hero, but I guess I will deal with those things when I get to them. I just hope he's not out of town when I get to the South Branch. Well, that's all I got for now. Have a nice day. Yeah. Thanks. I do like the log entries. Those are fun. Oh yeah, the game's gorgeous. Soundtrack's phenomenal as well. Yes. Yes, absolutely. I agree 100%. Blasphemous is great. If you don't know Blasphemous, go check it out. Good game. But yeah, Dragato don't mess around, or doesn't mess around. Yes. Does sound that way. Been fun learning about them. Rico on that last week's episode saying, I do wonder what'll happen to other VTTs that support D&D Beyond once this comes out. A friend of mine hosts his own Foundry VTT server we use, and currently we also use D&D Beyond to easily import our characters and stuff for that. I wonder if that's still possible once this comes out, or if it's something they're going to gate off. Ooh, good question. Sure, it doesn't have 3D models. As far as I know, it's super modular from what I can tell. But the main advantage of Foundry is something you also touched on. You can basically run everything. Hell, there are even some plugins for the Fallout 2D20 RPG. I've ran a single session of the intro campaign that comes with the book so far. Sadly, summer scheduling issues have limited it to the one session, and it's been super easy. Nice. On a side note, I hope we can play the rest soon, so my friends get hyped for a proper campaign. I need a reason to buy the Winter of Adam campaign book and a bunch more Fallout minis while I'm at it. Hell yeah, dude. That sounds like fun. Yeah, you raise a good point, though. Any VTTs that are out there that do have D&D Beyond support, I wonder if they will gate it off. They might not, because it's just more income technically, I guess, because of licensing maybe. I don't know how it works, but I assume there's some sort of royalty that they have to pay in order, or some licensing fee they'll still have to pay in order to keep being able to have those integrations. But yeah, I don't know. It's not a great thing to think about, because if they do just lock it off, that really does just hamper other VTTs, at least just for D&D. Which, to be fair, is one game out of many, but it is the most popular game, technically, right? It's the most well-known. So, it might drive down usage of that particular VTT if they do it. So, I don't know. I hope they don't, I guess, is the only thing I can say. I'm still working on how Targasis acts. It's kind of hard. Fair enough. I hope you can figure it out. And then we have Heinrich Koenig on Garabay's 10 DM bullet points, historian and writer. And I remember reading this because it was so short, and I was just like looking at it, and I was like, oh. So, you need to know about Eastern history to be a true master of the dungeon like I am. And literally at 40 minutes and 7 seconds, I played the clip, and I didn't catch it. But he says Bushido instead of Bushido. Like, it's Bushido. Come on, Garabay. If you're a master of this stuff, you should know how to pronounce Bushido. It's a word that is actually kind of in the popular consciousness, at least to some degree. It's Bushido. Come on. Fuck off. Yeah, no, I agree with you. I do. I didn't even catch it. In fact, I think I can just play it right now. Hold on. Yeah.
And the warrior, Bushido, all of.
Oh, 1d10 damage. Oh, okay. That's a long sword if you two-hand it. Yeah. So like, I'm paying attention to the chat at that point, but yeah, he literally says Bushido. Fucking hell, man. Okay. And then we have Lux. Here we go. I'll let that come up before I read it. Let's see. Okay. Oh. Yeah, Bushido is the version Bowser's Shy Guy practices. See, that would be the thing. That would be the pun that they would do. You would have Shy Guys that were called like the Bushido gang or something, right? Like that's what you would do for a Mario game, for like a Mario and Luigi, RPG kind of game, right? That's what you would do. Anyway. So Lux on last week's says, or last week's, 2 weeks ago, I guess, says, all right, time to post another chain of comments. Thank you. So since my newer laptop died and took my Pathfinder campaign down with it, we've decided to try Ultima. Oh, I don't know what that is. We haven't exactly decided who will be the GM yet, but one of the major points of that game is that every player is supposed to participate in creating the world by contributing one nation, one important historical event, one mystery, and one major threat. Excuse me, goodness. Huh. I feel like that wouldn't necessarily work for every group, but we're trying it. What you're supposed to do is write down a few details about each of the parts you're contributing. But since I'm incapable of writing down a few details, that's where my entire week has gone. And since that stopped me from finishing the part of my regular world building here that I would have posted, that's what I'm going to post instead. Okay. A few notes to mention before starting. You may or may not remember that the Kobold Empire I wrote about a while back was named Drakkar. I also named the empire in this project Drakkar. They're not the same empire, I just reused the name. Okay, fair enough. Oh! Alright, I'm starting to fade a bit, so I'll catch some sleep. I'll read up on the lore comment thread later. Good night, everyone. Good night, Rico! Fair enough. Get some sleep. I know you've been up for a while. And since you have your whole week, fucking enjoy it, man. Alright. Also, because I am cringe, I pulled Politina and Viridi from Kid Icarus Uprising in as gods for this world on the argument of, fuck it, why not? To be fair, though, it seems no worse to me than using any of the D&D Pathfinder or Pathfinder's published gods. Think of this as AU versions of them. Alternate universe, for those who don't know. As gods go, Politina is the best of them, and Viridi is, really something. I know nothing about Viridi. I know only as much about Politina as, the internet, and, which I don't need to specify, and, Smash Brothers. That's kind of it. I actually have 5 entries to post. 2 of them are nation descriptions, and you'll see why. So 5 comments to post under this one, but they won't be super long. Won't all be super long. Here we go. Okay, cool. I'm ready. Here's the first of the 2 nations descriptions. Think of this as an anime Holy Roman Empire clone. I've seen a few of those. Okay, yeah. I get what you're saying. Great way of making a world. Good job, Lux. Yeah. Oh, Lux is good at world building, to be fair. The Empire of Drakkar. A federation of semi-autonomous cities and feudal estates subject to the elected emperor or empress of Drakkar by consent of the imperial diet, the Pontifex Maximus of the Holy Temple of Politina, and the Archdruid of the Arcadian Council of Viridi. Customs and legal systems vary widely from one state to the next, but most regions are heavily urbanized and focused on the development of industry and commerce. My mouth is starting to not work. Goodness, I need to stretch my mouth. Excuse me. Though this is moderated by the druids who maintain a staunch effort to preserve the forests and prevent excessive exploitation of nature. War between states is rare, but not unheard of, with extensive legal measures in place to discourage open aggression without legitimate cause. The current imperial monarch is Empress Rin Krazer, who also holds the title of Princess Elector and Duchess of Logria. The imperial diet is currently seated in the free city of Ulmgart. Ultimate legislative, executive, and judicial authority rests with the Empress, but all decisions are traditionally made in consultation with the Diet, which functions as a forum for building consensus between the constituent imperial princes. Gotcha. Oh, Viridi is the goddess of nature in Kid Icarus Uprising, and the second, I think, major enemy you fight because she's trying to destroy humanity for being too destructive to nature. Ah, I see. Didn't play the game, so fair enough. While most Drakkaran peasants pursue only the crafts, wow, goodness, and manual labors, there are numerous institutions available for intellectual development and pursuits. Nobles and patricians often compete for prestige through their patronage of the arts and sciences, while the states seek always to refine and improve the bureaucratic systems of their government. Likewise, the Temple of Palatina considers the cultivation of the mind to be a sacred pursuit. Sorry, I'm pausing only because my brain is having trouble catching up with my eyes for some reason. Even the Arcadian Druids collectively support the natural sciences, believing that reverence for nature goes hand in hand with understanding it. As the demand for education has grown, these forces have sought to supply it, leading to a flowering of Dracaran culture over the last century. But as progress has moved forward, those who see emerging ideas as a threat to the traditional order have increased in number as well. The Empire of Dracar considers itself to be the legitimate successor to the ancient Empire of Calia, whose ruins now litter the vast wilderness throughout much of the world, and its majority population consists of humans who fled there from the Kaelan homeland during the Cataclysm. To clarify, the Dracarans identify both political entities as merely the Empire, while the terms of Dracar and of Calia refer only to the country in which it was primarily seated. Sorry, it might be Calia. I don't know. But Calia, Kaisar, yeah, I got you. Maybe. Anyway. Because the Empire thus considers itself the rightful overlord to all humans on Altano, it often comes into tension and conflict with other human governments that don't recognize its authority. The Empire sometimes manages to pressure these far-flung states into nominal subservience as tributaries, but the distances involved make this arrangement difficult to enforce, and the tributaries often proclaim their independence again as soon as the Empire becomes too embroiled in other problems to retaliate. The native beastmen of the region constitute the largest minority, and are a common sight in the more rustic parts of the Empire, though most cities have their own beastman quarter as well. Beastmen have an especially strong representation among the Druids. Makes sense? I believe it should be a hard C. It's whatever it would be in Latin, at least. Yeah, since Kaisar, you know? So, that's what I'm sticking to it. Humans living in Dracar are often known to spontaneously transform into beastmen. Oh! The frequency of this occurrence depends on where in Dracar one resides. Humans who dwell for a few years in the Night Moon Forest are almost certain to transform, and living in sight of the Green Tower in the heart of that forest brings this change on in a matter of months. This transformation is far less common in other parts of Dracar, though it is known to happen. The Akkadian Druids refer to this phenomenon as Viridi's Blessing, though there are many, especially in the cities, who consider it a curse. Those who do not wish to accept this transformation can have it reversed at any of Palatina's temples, bleh, and they will never be so transformed again. But anyone born a beastman will remain a beastman for life. Oh. Vampires and werewolves are also known to haunt the night. Unlike the beastman transformation, which is sometimes falsely associated with werewolves, true lycanthropy is universally regarded as both a disease and a curse, as those who become werewolves lose their sanity entirely while transformed. Druids refer to lycanthropy as Viridi's wrath, and claim it to be a divine punishment from the wild goddess on hunters and woodsmen who take too much from nature or who cause harm to a nymph. While most nymphs stay within their own domains and avoid contact with mortals, a band of Pleiads? I don't know that word. Pleiad. Pleiades. Oh. Okay. Sorry. Pleiades. I looked it up. So a band of Pleiades is known to roam the forests and glens of Drakkar and the surrounding wilderness, hunting down lycanthropes, undead, and anything else they consider an affront to nature. Encounters with the I've already forgotten it. Shit. Pleiades? Yeah, Pleiades, I think it was. Are dangerous and can become violent if the correct protocols are not followed. According to the druids who claim to have spoken with them, the Pleiades are able to communicate directly with Viridi herself. However, although their motives and goals largely align, the Pleiades have no more involvement with the druids beyond the occasional chance meeting that they have with any other mortal affair. Even so, military commanders must be mindful of where they offer battle and what tactics they use, as there have been occasions where the Pleiades chanced upon a battlefield and, seeing the excessive destruction being wrought, attacked and wiped out both sides simultaneously. Ah, I see. Despite these significant hazards, Drakkaran roads are patrolled frequently, and adventuring guilds see to it that dangerous monsters don't settle in large enough numbers to overwhelm the land. Thus, the Empire is seen as a land of order, and a relatively safe place to travel. Okay. Cool. So 3. And here's the second nation description. This is actually a city-state within the Empire described above. For your information, if you don't know, the term free city in the context of the HRE, Holy Roman Empire, refers to a self-ruling city subject only to the emperor. In other words, free in the sense of not being part of any other imperial estate. I didn't know that. Thank you. Free city of Olmgart. One of the largest and wealthiest cities in the Drakkaran Empire, Olmgart has stood as the seat of the imperial diet for the last 100 years. Though subordinate to the reigning emperor or empress, the imperial estate of Olmgart, is governed by a republic. Is governed by a republic of citizens. Having originally gained importance and an influx of wealth as a place of accommodation for traveling emperors. Oh, cool. Olmgart thereafter pursued rapid development of its industries and trade networks, specializing especially in the manufacturing of textiles. Soon becoming a central hub of commerce for the whole empire, Olmgart went on to establish the Olmgart University, attracting some of the greatest minds in the world to its academic community. In addition to numerous accomplishments in the arts and sciences, this allowed Olmgart to establish an efficient bureaucratic infrastructure that has been looked at as a template for emulation by state governments throughout the empire. Because of this cascade of successes, Olmgart now stands among the most influential of all the imperial estates, referred to often as the Drool of Drakkar. Cool. The Pleiades is what Lord Irons calls his maid staff and overlord also. Oh, cool. Didn't know. Alright, 4. Here's the most major historical event. I did have Miyazaki's Castle in the Sky on my mind when I wrote this. Okay. The Kalian Cataclysm. A disastrous event that occurred 6 centuries ago when the ancient floating islands of Kalia, fell to the earth. The cause of this event was the empire's overuse of magic, which culminated in the creation of the Sky Piercer. Oh, pierce the heavens. A device meant to open a way to the upper heavens, which were thought to be the realm of endless mana. I've never seen Evangelion. I just know whether this cataclysm was a punishment from the gods for humanity's hubris, or simply a natural result of straining the planet's life force too far, the widespread devastation wrought by Kalia's literal fall has reduced most of the world to a monster-infested wilderness, with the surviving remnants of civilization spread few and far between. The humans who fled these islands as they began to drop out of the sky, displaced many of the native terrestrial societies in the places where they sought refuge. Oh. In Drakkar, the goddess Viridi actively sought to prevent the destruction of the native beastman population, who traditionally revered her as their matron, while Palutena worked to promote peace between the two species. The result is an uneasy truce between the two goddesses on the matter of Drakkar, which they have mutually agreed not to pull into any other conflicts that might arise between them. This is reflected in the constitution of the Drakkaran Empire, which requires the consent of both the Arcadian Council of Viridi and the High Temple of Palutena to the coronation of any emperor or empress elected by the imperial diet. Despite this accord, a great many factors prevent the two major faiths of Drakkar from existing in true harmony, and religious strife has broken out between their adherents on many occasions. Though most of the Kalian cities fell in a relatively short time span, a small number of them remain high above the clouds to this day, long abandoned by their former inhabitants. Oh. To reach one of these cities is the dream of explorers and treasure hunters across the world. But to do so is no small task, for they exist at an altitude far beyond what most modern airships are able to reach. These cities will still fall from time to time, as the ancient magical machines keeping them aloft finally fail. Whenever this happens over land, the resulting destruction amounts to a major local catastrophe in its own right. Oof. Oof, I say. 5. Here's the mystery. It's not the only mysterious thing I ended up describing, but it's the one I contributed to check this particular box. Fair enough. Lower world. Ancient legends speak of a hidden world below the world, but the tales disagree about its nature. Some claim it to be a paradisical... Is it paradise? Paradisical? Paradisical? I don't actually know. I will find that out now, too. Is it paradisical? Paradisical. Pronunciation. How do I pronounce? Google, why you know pronounce for me? Why you know show me pronounce?
Paradisiacal or
paradisiacal? Paradisiacal. Oh, there's an A in there. I guess you're missing an A after the SI. Huh. That? Anyway. Doesn't matter. So paradisiacal realm of eternal youth. Some describe it as an infernal hell of tormented souls, and others call it a gnomic land of fairies and wild magic. Whether it truly exists and what wonders or horrors lie there, has been a subject of speculation and debate for thousands of years. Fair enough. Great show today. Thank you. That pronunciation doesn't sound right. I don't know. Yeah, I looked it up on Google, and that's the first thing that came up. It might be that it did say or. Hold on. Let's find out.
paradisiacal or paradisiacal.
Paradisiacal? Paradisiacal or paradisiacal? I don't know. That's apparently how you're supposed to say it. I don't see that word very often, so I'll probably forget. Anyway. That was funny. Fair enough. Maybe though, I'm not sure either now. Hey, I only speak the language. I don't know it. 6. And finally, the threat. At least, it was meant to be submitted as a threat, but it turned into a general discussion on the world's gods, particularly Palutena and Viridi, and the nature of the religions dedicated to them. But to be fair, gods do qualify as a threat if anything does, especially Viridi. Fair enough. Neither sound right? I would say, like, yeah, I don't know. Paradisical? I don't know. That's That's where my brain goes. Anyway. Wars in heaven. Oh god. The world of Altano exists within a mere bubble of order in an infinite rolling sea of primordial chaos. Born of that chaos, the gods do not act with one accord, but represent opposing forces that would tear the world apart if they ever fell out of balance. Among the sages, there are some who argue this to be a matter of when rather than if. Oh. The gods did not create the world, as is often believed. Rather, the gods and the world were born together. It could be said that the gods and the world are as one and inseparable. Among all the major gods, only 2 truly concern themselves with the preservation of life. These are Palutena, guardian of humanity, and Viridi, guardian of nature. And even they only act as allies to the extent that circumstances compel them. To Palutena, the light of reason is sacred, and all things that bear that light are vessels of divinity. To Viridi, the wild freedom of life itself is holy, and humans are a menace for destroying and enslaving the natural world without concern for the damage they cause. Fair. Yeah, the one you said sounds better. Paradisical? I don't know. The 2 goddesses often fight each other. Fight together against forces hostile to all life, but their natures also set them against each other. That's where I got it. With some frequency. It is not uncommon for the actions of humans to rile Viridi's fury to an uncontrollable tempest, and a great many cataclysms throughout history have come from her anger. Palutena has been known as more tolerant and even-tempered throughout history, but she did rise to a level of arrogant belligerence during the Kalian era, thinking to finally secure the safety of humanity by elevating them in power above the other creatures of the world. Witnessing the death and horror that empire ultimately wrought in the throes of its self-destruction has left her more humble and pensive in the present age. Although Viridi has always been checked by Palutena, she is nonetheless regarded as perhaps the greatest of all threats to human existence. Neither goddess truly desires worship, nor are they ever moved by praise and supplication. Nonetheless, the fears and doubts inherent in mortal minds have given rise to numerous cults dedicated to them over the centuries. Having long ago found their best efforts insufficient to prevent this, the goddesses have decided instead that the best they can do is offer guidance to their devotees. Even in that capacity, the goddesses have opted to pick their battles, as dispelling every false belief about them would be an exhausting labor on its own, while the bulk of their attention is demanded by threats to life on Altano, from other gods and beings far beyond mortal comprehension. Furthermore, the goddesses, like most deities, will nonetheless allow the channeling of their power by users of divine magic, whose ideals are aligned with their own. Palutena typically intervenes against sects, not sex, sects, that begin to spread intolerant and violent or anti-intellectual views in her name. Viridi mostly remains satisfied with her mortal followers as long as they uphold the work of respecting and preserving the natural world, whether the means they choose for this work are peaceful or otherwise. Unsurprisingly, the vast majority of Palutena's devotees are human. Those who take Viridi as their matron are most definitely demi-humans and beastmen, species often oppressed and exploited by human greed. Makes sense. However, though Viridi would prefer the extinction of humans as a whole, she will not prevent those who understand her reasons from joining her cause. Nor will she discourage those who seek to avoid her wrath by making the effort to live in greater harmony with nature. Likewise, Palutena does not see the other intelligent species as less sacred than humans, as the light of reason exists in their minds as well. Therefore, some of them do choose her as their matron goddess. Preferring the calm order of civilization and pursuits of academia to the dangerous dangers of the wild. The two groups are not inherently opposed to one another, nor do they always raise arms against one another, even when their goddesses clash. They can come to strife over differences in agenda, but many of their sects, prefer to settle their conflicts through peaceful discussions and negotiation. Now you have found a word that I can't say very well. Anyway, and that's it for this distraction. I don't know if I'll have any more to this world to on this world to post in the future, but I had some fun with this exercise and mixing world building with what basically amounts to fan fiction. I plan on getting back to Shadowguard next time. Okay, cool. Yeah, I liked it. It's neat. Got a bunch of stuff set for your game, and it's cool that you went into such detail. I'm sure it'll only help. Because you can have some clarification on some stuff, if the need should be. Yeah, I've never heard of Fabula Ultima. It sounds neat that you can do stuff like that, though, when you create the world. So, that being said, that's all the comments. We're caught up. And let's go over to the shilling and stuff. Hey, by the way, those of you who have been listening to the audio-only versions of the podcast that are on your podcasting service of choice, sorry, I've been a bad man and not put any of the stuff that needs to be put up for like 6 episodes so far. I'm gonna get to that. Don't you worry. There's been some stuff. So please accept my apologies. I will get to that as soon as I can. Okay, now time to drive home. Have a safe drive. Thanks for the show. You're welcome. So, that being said, hey, you could be a supporter of the show financially if you would like, for as little as $1 a month, either through Patreon or through Ko-fi, with its membership, or even just donating. Either way, you can give as little as $1 a month, and you can be seen when I talk about, hey, these people give us money. It's crazy. So, that being said, thank you to our tier 4s, that being Draco Kraken, Mog Zero, Rick, aka Unit Rico, Slazer, and Steely. Big thank you for that tier 4 subscription to the Patreon. And of course, a thank you to Neon Armok, Lux Armok. God, I said it wrong. Don't smite me. For that $5. Appreciate you for that tier 2 patronage. And of course, thank you to our tier 1 contributor. All the stuff that you get is in each of the what's it called? The descriptions of each of the tiers. So go and read them if you want to support us that way. And of course, don't do it if you don't want to or aren't able to financially. You're more important. Always remember that. Yeah, Ko-fi or Patreon, links are in the description. Also, you can go over to TeePublic and now can get either the regular logo or the TableTalk horror logo from 2023 that is now up there. You can get it on a t-shirt, you can get it on a cup, you can get it on a pillow, or just the art itself, just to look at. Why not? It's very cool, like it a lot, and I hope you do as well. It's very gooey, very horror gooey. So, hell, you could get it for your baby. For a baby bodysuit, apparently. I don't know. That's weird. Go for it, if you want to. I'm not going to stop you. What am I? I'm just a guy. Anyway, you can also go over to our website that is sporadically updated on the main page, but go over and find our custom dice that are still there. You can buy our dice. We have dice. Buy them. They're cool dice. If you don't want to buy them, don't buy them. That's fine. But if you want some cool TableTalk dice that have really, really visible numbers, like very easy to read and visible stuff on them, Go and get them. It's great. I love these dice. They're super good. Dice. And finally, if you want to support us another way, the link in the description, that is the Humble Bundle link, allows you to go over to Humble Bundle because we are partnered with Humble Bundle. And everything you buy using that link, whether it be a bundle or in the actual shop, whatever the fuck, the choice itself, the monthly choice bundle, like all of these things will support us as well as Tabletop Alliance, who also has a link in the description, so you can check out their charity work that they do with tabletop stuff. So yeah. And obviously, whenever you buy anything off of here, you can do the sliders and stuff and figure out how much you want to give to whatever. So do that. If you ever find yourself on Humble Bundle, use our link before you go there, and then it works the entire time you're on there. You don't have to worry about clicking something else or anything. Just go for it. Let's see if there's any book bundles for TTRPGs that might be of interest at the moment. Shadowrun Stories, the Shadowrun Collection stories. These ones are actual stories in the world and not the books for the game. But still cool, because Shadowrun is a cool setting. I don't know what this is. And I see there's an Assassin's Creed Mega Bundle. Apparently, there's stories there too. Neat. I don't know. But whatever. And the games and stuff, like, whatever you want. Just go buy it if you want to. If not, then don't worry about it. Anyway. That's Humble Bundle. That's all the shilling I have. I think. Yeah. Pretty sure. So, welcome to Spooky Times, everybody. We're going to be doing more spooky things as things come up. Spooky videos, or at least topics that are spookier. Doing our spooky horror games for digital distractions. If you haven't yet seen, we started up Fatal Frame, Maiden of the Black Water. Boo is playing that, and it is neat. We have some other games planned for that, so that's a thing. If we can get around to actually watching those movies, I'll try to get some things set up so that people can have watch-alongs of the Friday the 13th or Nightmare on Elm Street or whatever we actually decide to do. It would be kind of fun. And listen to us talk about the movies as we watch them and shit. And pause them probably, because that's what we did for the Dracula Untold one, when that one's a Patreon only thing at the moment, because I still haven't edited that down because I'm bad at doing things. But yeah, all that stuff. So, oh, and if you're new, you know the YouTube thing. Subscribe if you want to. It's free and all that. Like the video. Share it with your friends. Share it with your grandma. Share it with somebody who won't take offense to the things that we say, I guess. Or someone who will. I don't know. It's not my call. I can't tell you what to do. I'm not your dad. Anyway, thank you for hanging out with me. Thank you for hanging out with us. Thank you for your viewership. We do it for you a lot of the time. Okay. Goodbye now. Get out of here. Go on. Leave. I need to go to bed. Soon. I have work in the morning. And so do you. I know you do. Go on. You gotta go to work soon. Go to bed. And if you don't, good for you.